Show. I love you guys. Fucking let's go Jets. Jets, Jets.
Oh, I'm beating you with my mind. And I can still dominate, I think.
Dane, you're a legend, bro.
We are live. What is up? some tech shit on my end. You hear that? Yeah, my bad.
I was trying to sneak that sip of beer in real quick, and you got me. That's okay. Hey, it's good to be back. I feel like I've been on like a 3-year hiatus. Like I just crawled out of the forest with like a big bushy beard and a spear in hand, tiger pelt on my back, But I'm here and I'm ready to get myself back into civilization here a little bit.
Facts, man. And no, you said you were sipping a beer. I don't know if I was muted or not, but I was cracking one. I'm like, amateur hour, man. Hey, that's what we do on Friday nights, though, man. Chill out, catch up on the week, dude. A lot of nothing happened this week, and a lot of a lot happened this week. It's kind of crazy. Just all the rumor mills, man. And I don't know if we entertain half of them had our vibes not been poor this week. Like we were looking for anything just to escape that Broncos game, man. Just terrible, terrible.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? Because I know you haven't been as plugged into the social media stuff, but you definitely saw the game. What did you think of that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't so plugged into the YouTube hemisphere and social, not so much on the social media, but I definitely watched the game because I'm a psycho just like the rest of us, and it was disappointing, I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like it was just disappointing. We shouldn't have looked that bad, and you can point fingers every which way, and there's a lot of different places you can point fingers at. It was just a sloppy game. Like it was just a bad game. And I don't want to sit here and start to try to point out tendencies, on our after our fourth game of the season, but it could be the start of something. It's things that you got to keep your eye out on. I kind of just want to chalk it up as to one of those games where it was just a game where nobody was in their right head space. Like people were just doing like even the stars weren't starring, like
Facts.
the role players weren't playing their role, like the coaches weren't coaching like that. It just and the weather was weathering for sure. So let's just chalk it up to that. Move on to next week. I still think that we're a team that goes into any game with a chance to win.
Yeah.
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 So that's how I'm looking at it right now. Like, yeah, we shouldn't have lost that game, but how about let's win a game that we shouldn't have won?
Facts, dude. And you said it. The stars weren't starring. All that. I mean, we are a penalty committing team, but I also know that the refs are headhunting right now, man. So like, I just a lot of problems we're having. And let me just say this, dude. So that was September. Like we expected, most of us rational ones expected there to be some bumps and bruises. Can we just like close the door on it now? It's September, and I said this the other day. Like, put it in a box. Like this week, I want to glean most of what I think about this team this weekend. Like this is fresh in my opinion. 2-2. I wanted to be 3-1. We should have been 3-1. Could have been, but we're still healthy. We did lose a big ass piece in September, but we're still good enough to win every single Sunday, like you said. And coming into this year, dude, it favored in 14 games. I still think that would be accurate if they ran those numbers now. Miami isn't who they thought we were. Anyone thought they were. The Bills, what day of the week or what week do you catch them on? And overall, the AFC, it doesn't scare me, man. Like maybe it should. Maybe it should. The Chiefs are just backing their way into undefeated here, but even they have not weaknesses, I wouldn't say, but like ways to exploit them to where I wouldn't like just chalk it up as an L. And also, like you said, man, any given Sunday it really does apply because we have enough pieces to put up 40 in a game. We have enough pieces to hold a team under 14. Like if you can do both of those things separately, both of those things together, you're not out of any game. It's just like we got to find a way to get sinking fast. In the season, fast, but also in the game, fast, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. The sinking of all of our pieces, yes, but like sinking, you got to come out in the first quarter. I mean, what do we have? 2 fumbles in the first 10 minutes of games already. So like you said,
And
nobody
from
was.
characteristic players too. I mean, you know,
There's
that's
3.
why I don't want to overthink it. You
Yeah,
know, I just I mean, we had some concerns about Garrett holding onto the ball with one hand and stuff like that.
yeah.
But for the
That's
most
not what
part, he
happened.
hasn't been a super fumble prone player, you know. But the one thing I wanted to say is like it was like a good point you said, like that was September and we're now in a new month, you know. Well, to me, like the 2 most important months during the regular season that I want to be hot in is October and December. Because you want to be hot in December going into the playoffs, and in October you need to get hot because you need to get a stretch of games under your belt so you can have a good record, right? Like those
Fair.
are the 2 important months to me. So, like we came out of
Facts.
September 2-2. Okay, well, how about we go 3-1, 4-0 in October, something like that? How about
Yep.
how about we do that?
Yeah. Dude, and you find out like everybody's sloppy in September to some degree. Uh, hey, we're not 1-3. That helps. But like, I think you really find out what each team is, like you said, October, man. Because September's done. Now you're starting to get teams figuring who they are. And then you have what you said in the beginning of the show, some tendencies forming. How do you attack those? How do you harness them in other ways? Like, that's what we're going to find out this month. And we may not have to start fitting all those puzzle pieces in on Sunday, but I do expect to fit some of them in, man. Like you said, the stars weren't star. There was three players on this team that coming into this season were in my top 5 of knowing exactly who they were and what they would give us. And I'm 0 for 3. Garrett, so far, obviously. Garrett, Brees, and Greg Zerline. Three guys that I thought, and I joke about the Austin Siebert thing, but like now I'm morphing it. It's not a joke because dude, it's aging well. But no, Greg, I still thought was going to have a hell of a year. Like even the ones he's making, and I said it during the game and Discord, and shit. Like the ones he's making do not reassure me because they're like darts, like slanted darts, and it's just like. But the big thing is the Brees and Garrett. But the good thing is, dude, we have so many pieces that if all the other ones were clicking, we wouldn't even notice those 3. So
Yeah, and you know, I mean, some people had talked about it and said, "Oh, I think Alan Lazard is going to be better this year," right? Well, I think he's exceeded even those people's expectations this year so far. So where you have a Garrett that's not quite hitting his stride yet, you got an Alan Lazard that's way over exceeding his stride. You know,
facts.
so it's not all bad. It's not all bad. It's not all
Yep.
down. You know, okay, Brees doesn't look like he's not looking as explosive as we expected, and he's not finding the holes like we used to see him always do, you know. But at the same time, then we got Braylon Allen, that's as a friggin' rookie, the youngest player in the NFL, looks damn good, you know. So where you got your ups, you got your downs. Where you got your downs, you got your ups. Like it's fine. Things will sync up eventually, like you said. This is this is a good month to see it too, and I think like it, some of it goes in coaching too. Do you think coaches have the same game plans at week 1 as they do like 15, 16?
No.
Like that's not how that works. Like they adjust things as the season goes along. They see like, okay, this has been working. Like we're gonna lean into this a little bit more, or this hasn't been working. We're gonna chuck it. Like or we're going to adjust personnel to where this works better or whatever. Things get adjusted as the season goes along, and and that's where that synchronicity kind of comes into play too. So I I think that things are going to be looking up for the Jets here soon. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Vikings, fucking, we're going to wipe the floor with them. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, I think that all this negativity is for nothing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After that loss.
Well, and I've said it before, but like I really do think it's true. We are our greatest opponent. Um, and it don't matter who. Like if we could play the Vikings every game the rest of the season in London, we still got to figure it out ourselves. Who we are. Once we're clicking, dude, my confidence is sky high. The only thing that faltered is how soon we find it. Like I expected to find it like week 3. We kind of did, but then we didn't just lose it. Like we regressed. So I still do have that faith, but like there's all these other things, man, penalties and play calling. I don't know, man, because after week 3 there wasn't a person alive that had Hackett down as a con. They actually said that he was performing way better than they thought. And then you have a game like last week where now everybody, is back to where they were. We all have short memories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Short
Yeah.
memories.
Have you ever this is going to sound like a non-football thing. Have you ever tried to start a fire with like flint rocks or a spark kit of some sort? Right.
I've seen it done on TV.
Okay, so they're sparking, they're trying to spark or whatever, and then some sparks catch the kindling and stuff like that a little bit. It starts to smolder a little bit, and they're like, "Oh yeah, nice, all right, cool." Look at it, it's about to go up. Fire's about to go up, and then it dies out, and they're like, "Ah, crap!" So they go back at it, and they start sparking again, and then it starts sparking, it catches, and then the light breath blowing on a little bit, give it a little oxygen. Next thing you know, that fire starts, right? And then they start adding wood strategically. Next thing you know, you got a nice big fire. That's what's going on here. Like week 3, that spark hit, right? That's what we wanted to see. That's a flash of what it was going to be. That's a flash of what that fire is going to be. But that wasn't the fire yet. Like it wasn't quite there yet. And now, hopefully, after it died back down and we're sparking again, this time we're going to give it a little breath, little air, and then next thing you know, that fire is going to start building. And we're going to start adding wood. Always go TP, cross with your wood,
Watch Survivor Man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we from the sticks, dude. What do you expect? But so yeah, and then next thing you know, by the end of the season, we're going to have a big ass bonfire.
And you're right though. Like once the cotton was catching, like did players think that they had a fire? Because like that shouldn't have been the mindset if they were. But like I don't know. There's just so many people that are fire Sala, fire Hackett, and that's not gonna fix it, man. It's not gonna fix it. It's not. And if that's I see people, that's all they say all day long, all week long, that's their take. Like, okay, but is that not the easiest take to come to? And that's like, to me, that's mailing it in. Like, why don't you be creative and find the solution that's actually, like, they're not going anywhere. You have the pieces you have now. Find a way to make them work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know of any examples. Has a team ever fired a head coach and won a Super Bowl that year?
Yeah, I doubt. No, I think
no. I can't think of any from recent memory. I'm pretty sure that's never happened, and I'm going to go on a limb and say it probably hasn't happened with like an offensive coordinator either. So,
no, I wouldn't imagine so. John Gruden came to mind first, but that was like the season before, I think, and whatnot. But dude, we have who we have coaching wise. Like Bill Belichick is never coming here, okay? Like, I'm tired of that too, man. He's not. Like, get over it.
Could be the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't want him here. He can take that straight to hell with him.
Never coming here, dude. It's just irrational, man. Like, wake up, dude. It's week 4, week 5. Now, are we all let down? Yes. Yes, of course. Of course. Help will come by the way of personnel. Okay, we got Leaky Fotu. He's coming. We got Hassan Reddick, maybe coming. We got Davante Adams, probably coming. But like, we still got to figure ourselves out right now because we want those pieces to be like, we want to be hitting the ground running and just sprinkle them in. We don't want them to come in at ground zero and add to this problem as it is. You know what I mean? So that's why I want to see progress Sunday. Because I have a feeling that Adams is going to be flying in like Tuesday. And I don't want the last freaking vibe between Garrett and Aaron to be what we saw last week again this week. Like, I want Garrett to go out and catch a 40-yard touchdown, have 85-yard plus, because then he's got, like, then it can be incorporating all of them. Then, oh, we got to fix Garrett, and now Davante is here, and he's looking better, and there's confidence. It's like, no, like, let's go. We're in London. Let's handle shit that's right in front of us and clean up our own act, and then we'll figure out the other stuff when it's time.
Yeah, and the thing about it too is like London to me feels like a very like level playing field. You know what I mean? Like it feels like a reset on everything outside of just football. Like it's just like the teams show up, nobody knows where the hell they are, and it's just like here, you guys fucking play football against each other, and that's what they do, and that's what I like actually. Going up against a team that's hot, you know, 4-0, number one, and I think NFL Network's power rankings and stuff like that. Like going up against a team that's hot, yeah. Bring them over to London, let that fire cool down a little bit, and let's play some actual ball, you know, and that's what I like. So,
what do you think of the all white fit we'll be rocking?
oh, dude, you can't beat the all whites. It's her
facts.
Love them. Love them. I don't
do you
love
think,
the guy in the picture, but
I was just gonna say, what are the odds your answer would have been Lazard for the front man on this image a month ago?
like negative 25%. I mean, come on. Like it would have, yeah.
Hey, we got a lot of people over there too, and I think that's gonna help, man. I do. I think there's more Vikings than there should have been because they're 4-0, you know. But all things being equal, my money's on Jet fans to show up, and they did. It looks like from what I've been seeing on social media.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope Woody's got his entourage over there from back when he was the ambassador. Like, I would hope something. I mean, yeah, we gotta have Jets fans over there. I mean, I'm not over there, so I can't talk shit on it, but you know.
Nope, I would have been over there, man, but I'm going to Steelers, and I just no can't. It's too quick a turnaround. I would have been. Yeah, right. What is that, like a $5,000 trip?
Yeah, probably at least probably.
Yeah.
Plus your passport in order and all that stuff. Like, yeah, I don't even have a passport.
Same.
Never needed one, but anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, boom. Yeah, he's there talking his.
Okay.
His stuff.
Let me get out of the way here 1 second. There we go. Okay. And welcome, chat. We'll get to talking each. I highlighted a lot of your comments, guys, already, and I appreciate you being here on Friday night, man. We're just chilling. A lot of, like I said, we spoke a lot about Denver all week, really, and now we're kind of looking at Minnesota a little bit. But Boomtown, I see a paragraph, and I know you wouldn't type one without it being meaningful. So let me see how kind of words you sent in for us here. Dano, remember that guy from Canada? Survivor Man? I was just talking about him. Oh, I think you mean you. That when the schedule was dropped, told the world that Adams would be a Jet this year. Adams and Williams on the outside with Wilson in the slot. I do remember Boomtown. I do. I think honestly, I don't know how hard of a take it was that he was coming. Like, what do you think, Daniel? Like, I think it was more when, right?
Yeah, to me, the question was always when. It was always like, is it during the season or are we waiting till after the season?
Or the
Whenever it
trade
felt like
deadline.
me, it felt like the financials made more sense after the season. So, but at the same time, you knew that Aaron wants him here ASAP. So, like, you know,
Yep.
I've honestly always worried about it. Like, are they going to sign him to like a 4-year deal after they bring him over? Like, that stuff worries me, like the stuff in the future. But I'm telling myself right now, fuck the future. I'll think about it later. We're in the middle of the season. We're trying to win. So, like, I got myself in that mindset right now, so I don't even care. Like, if they bring
And
him in, hell yeah, bring him in.
I'm not trying to take anything away from Boomtown here either. Like, I still give you your flowers, dude. You were on that train, and I do appreciate the foresight there by you. Um, Infrared said it the other day too. He's like, "Oh, I said this in June," and I'm just thinking, like, I think we were all talking. I mean, I have streams with Davante thumbnails in June. Like, I think we all knew. I just think a lot of us were thinking trade deadline because we expected the Raiders to have to lose more than 2 games. Like, how did it become toxic in September? Like, how? Crazy. I'll take it. Don't get me wrong. I will take it. Well, while we're talking about this, let me ask you this. Did you see this yet? Because you may have, but I think a lot of the people in the chat may not have. And it ties right into it. So let me get your thoughts on this.
Did he really say that?
He said that.
I
Now
saw that, but I thought it was one of those like accounts
no.
that you can't trust, and
I mean, he's not an agent. He's not a GM. It's his opinion, but like,
yeah.
interesting though. Like, so is he saying that he doesn't want to stay if Davante leaves? Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, that kind of feels that way. He
Doesn't
knows
matter
it, dude.
though.
There are 2 players on the Raiders that are worth a damn. I mean, really, for the most part.
Facts.
And that's him and Tay, dude. So like, he knows that if one's gone, he said, I can't do it myself. He's like, I'm just an edge rusher, guys. Like, you know. But
You don't like Brock Bowers, Daniel?
look,
Is that what I'm hearing?
well, okay. He's working towards that way, but I can't just crown him yet.
Facts.
I tell you what, if I had a choice between the two, I'd take Crosby over Davante. If I could get, if you can get, I mean,
now that we lost Jermaine,
throw
man, that
4
changed.
first-round picks out. No, maybe not 4, but
Here's the thing, though. Like, dude has a cap hit of $30 million this year, and like 28, and then 24. But like, if you wanted to, you can get him for this year. And if you cut him in the spring, the only penalty is 10 million dead to get out of that 28 and 24 down the road. 10 million dead. Like, if you really wanted him, but you still have to squeeze him into this year, and that's 28 million minus 6 and 7 games worth. Like, so if they would take Reddick, it's semi feasible. But I still don't think I still don't see it happening. I don't. I think we should just look at Adams and think about Adams. If we want another piece on the edge or outside linebacker or something, we can trade with another team, like separately. That's all, right? But dude, he is a baller. He's a game
Yes,
wrecker.
he's exactly what we need. Like he is exactly what we need on the defense. Like somebody like that would be a great like I don't want to say you're replacing JJ, but you know what I mean. Like wouldn't that be like the
I do.
perfect JJ replacement? I Yeah, but I think that the Raiders look at him as their like franchise cornerstone, like that he embodies a Raider. You know, I don't
Facts.
think they'll over their dead bodies will they ever let him go.
Yeah, I mean the contract that he signed, now he signed it 2 years ago, but the contract he signed was to be a cornerstone, and he's still young enough to be like honestly I'm surprised that there's an out after this year like that. Um, they may exercise it, but if you ask me, I think they keep him even beyond 2024. I think they keep him. Like, why not? Unless you're gonna. I mean, are we talking fire sale? You're 2-2, man. Like, I don't know.
It's amazing that they've won 2 games, but
Fair, fair.
it doesn't feel
Um,
like their 2 wins are like our 2 wins. I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like.
yeah, true. I get you there. Um, what do you so with the Garrett? I have other slides. I'm just gonna go through the slides, and Garrett's the next one. What? So obviously he's gone against Sneed and Gonzalez and help me out, Sertan, Ward. Is there any reprieve this week?
Um, I can't even think of who their starting outside corners are.
I could
So I
tell
would
you
say
in a
lean
minute.
towards yes. um,
I did hear that they give up like the most yards to receivers in the league, but I think their defense just works that way, kind of, if you ask
well,
me.
it's a very aggressive defense. Um, God, I can't remember his name. The coach that was Flores, Brian Flores is their DC, and he's known for playing like a high blitz scheme, like a very aggressive defense. He's a good defensive coach.
Stephon
Uh,
Gilmore, Byron Murphy.
okay, okay. Oh, that's a solid set. Gilmore's he's a little past his prime, but he's still a solid cornerback.
Harrison
Byron
Smith is
solid. Um, Harrison Smith, he's still playing.
he is and he is balling, dude. But dude, I saw a clip. Dude, I saw a Minnesota Vikings clip. Their defense though is like they literally the clip I saw had 11 guys all on the line of scrimmage. Only 2 with their hand in the dirt and 9 guys that looked like they were roaming. And then after the ball is hiked, they drop 8 into coverage from the line of scrimmage. Like it's going to be a show. Seeing Aaron go against that
Who's that remind you of?
as
We
far
know
as
we know a coach that was defensive minded that liked to do that a lot.
yeah, Rex.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Fair. Um, but that's where they told me like getting to the line and then audibling isn't quite as advantageous against them as other scenarios. Would you agree with that?
Um, Wait, how did you word that again? Just to make sure I'm answering the right.
Um, I said is apparently Aaron getting to the line and audibling there instead of having a plan going into it, going like seeing like surveying the landscape and adjusting will not be as advantageous since they mask everything until post snap. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah. I thought that's what you were basically implying. Yeah, I do agree with that, but I also you have to put something into film study too, and I think that Aaron can learn a lot just watching some of the film and how they do things because you'll notice tendencies even if they are pulling that shit. Like you'll notice tendencies on who's doing what and when they're doing it. So I'm not like super concerned about it, but I do think that that does put Aaron at a disadvantage in the way that he likes to run the offense.
Facts. I
Maybe
like
they'll
that.
do some more motion this week.
See, okay. So you have been slightly less tapped in. Have you seen anything about Garrett Wilson and his interview on Bart and Hahn that happened on Tuesday?
No.
There were comments that he made, and it is a big old. We could spend an hour dissecting it, but we're not going to. We're not going to. But long story short, they basically, if you ask me, were asking him, do you think you guys are doing too much on offense and that's kind of why you're out of sync? And he said he phrased it in a way where he said he watches other games and they're doing a lot. He doesn't feel like that's what we're doing. And a lot of people took that as he doesn't think we're doing enough, but I think he was more so saying we're not doing too much right now. You know what I mean? That's not the problem. But long story short, he said that his route tree this year is different than he's used to. Um, I don't know. I mean, I think that might like explain why it's just taking him a little bit to get his, his bearings and whatnot. But I don't know the point I was going for. But
Well, that would explain like the him and Aaron being off sync, because there's been
yeah,
times where it was very clear that like Aaron thought he was running one route and Garrett was running a different one. Like that's happened at least 3 times, at least, and so if they've changed his route tree up, and like I could see that. I also think see, this is something I've never understood. Like, there's a lot of like in the modern NFL, there's a lot of option routes, right? Where the receiver
yeah,
actually has a choice of which route he wants to run, and that I've never understood how that works, and people have success with that without throwing picks and stuff like that. But I think that just boils down to just the quarterback and receiver just being on the same page.
facts. And Hackett even said, in fact, there was a Hackett interview today, and he said that we are giving him more. If I'm reading between the tea leaves, it kind of seemed like he was making it out to be like this is a marathon, not a sprint kind of thing, and we want him to be ready at the end of the year. It might take a minute, and the key is winning. Like that's what I mean. Like with the whole division of Braylon versus Brees. Like I get it that you want to get Brees's bumps ironed out, but I also think that it's a marathon too. Like he'll iron him out. The key use Braylon enough to where you still win the game. Like, and I feel like last week we could have used Braylon enough to win the game while Brees is still figuring his shit out.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's still happening. It's not like Brees is going to get 0 snaps, right? But
Facts.
if he goes from 30 snaps to like 20, and he's got an even split with Braylon, and we win the game because Braylon's just trucking dudes over, and Brees is still working on getting those bumps out. Eventually, he's going to get those bumps out regardless. Like,
Yeah, I do. Here's a question. Obviously, you saw the game. 100% of their passing yards went to one guy. So, with that said, what do we do with Justin Jefferson this week? I mean, they have Addison, who's no slouch, but we have Reed. We have Reed that's playing out of his mind. So, like, it's not like I'm sure are our 2 guys interchangeable to the point where you don't care about the shadowing, or do you want length on length? kind of thing? Like, do you demand it?
I mean, if it were up to me, I would go your best guy on the best guy, second best guy on the second best. I would want Sauce and Addison, or not Addison, Sauce and Justin Jefferson going at it. Um, but it's a tough matchup. Like for any defense in the league, that's a tough matchup because like Addison is no slouch. Like he's really good.
He is legit good, man.
Yeah,
That dude.
Yeah, it's like you forget that Justin Jefferson is injured whenever he's injured because you're like, oh, there's Justin Jefferson, except it's not him, it's Addison. So
The
but
deep slants, though. The deep slants with that guy, man. He might not take a screen. I mean, he may take a screen to the house, but like he's not gonna wiggle off 10 guys. But he's gonna have like a 25-yard slant that you just don't catch him on.
yeah, he's definitely good in that aspect. I really don't know what the solution is to him. I mean, you can talk about bracketing Jefferson, and then maybe putting Sauce on Addison. But
That might be the move, but
I think that those receivers are going to get a little. They're not going to go hungry this game, and I think people are going to be a little upset with our DBs. But the most important thing to counter that, dude, is just get home. Get to Darnold, man. Bring him back to his ghost seeing days. That's
facts.
the main thing.
Alan actually says exactly that. Very tough game Sunday morning, especially if the Jets can't get home without a conventional pass rush. Can't get home with a conventional pass rush, I assume. I mean, hey, blitz if you have to at certain times. Like, I love that blitz we used. Chuck Clark, I thought that was creative. We blitzed linebacker at times. I guess good time as any to bring out this. No problem, man. Mosley is looking doubtful for the game. Moses is out, so we got Fashanu playing. But it's a game that Sherwood will be in. Do you think that's? I mean, obviously we want Mosley back, but do you think Sherwood could lose it for us? Is this the kind of game where they could pick on him? What do you think?
No, but that does bring up a good point. Is T.J. Hawkinson healthy?
Ooh,
Because
I'm not sure.
T.J. Hawkinson's a good tight end. Honestly, I don't think there's a drop off between C.J. Mosley and Jamie Sherwood in terms of their play. Now, as far as like the leadership aspect and things like that, you could argue that, but as far as in their play, I don't think there's a huge drop off, to be honest with you. And it's kind of the same thing with Moses and Fashanu, right? There's not really much of a drop off, if any, So, and then Fotu, he hasn't played for us yet, so we don't really know what we're going to see in him. He's probably not going to play, though. I doubt.
Hawkinson's out.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good. I mean, prayers for his
good.
health and all that stuff, but
no,
it helps
good.
us.
That is good. It looks like they, just for note, Harrison Smith and Stephon Gilmore had a rest day on Friday. So, hey, I wish we considered that, but I don't know, man. I don't know about our schedule. Well, if we flew out there Thursday, like, I don't know. We could dissect that too, I'm sure, but I know you have to step away a minute. I haven't really said hi to most of the chat. I can go through the chat now if you think it's a good time.
Okay.
All right, cool, man. I will see you in a few. See what other slides I got. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out while Daniel is away. This crossed the news wire, and I wanted to read it. It's not Jet specific, but it is NFL specific. Long story short, well, I'll just read it. Over the past 3 years, the NFL Players Association has tried to work with the NFL and the Writers of America to move media interviews out of locker rooms. However, there has been little willingness to collaborate on a new solution. The players feel that the locker room interviews invade their privacy and are uncomfortable. This isn't about limiting media access, but about respecting players' privacy and dignity. The NFL's current media policy is outdated. We, the NFLPA Executive Committee, urge the NFL to make immediate changes to foster a more respectful and safer workplace for all players. In the meantime, we encourage each player to ask for interviews outside the locker room during the week. Worth noting, because, I mean, if you think about it, I don't know how much you guys know about Javon Kinlaw's history before he came here, but he actually got in a very heated exchange with a media guy, a guy by the name of Grant Cohn. And I think a lot of that stemmed with that dynamic, the exact dynamic they're speaking of in that letter. So something to keep an eye on, because I don't know, it is kind of weird. I mean, I grew up in a locker room, middle school, high school, junior college locker rooms. So like, but it's just to the point where I'm older than these players. So I think it's just a different vibe, man. And I'm sure that there are reporters and media members out there that can be way more uncomfortable than others, right? So I think it could help us if they start adhering to this policy, because it'll stop putting microphones in guys' faces right after a game and right after practice. Like, give us that little buffer. Get the locker room, get your emotions out of the way. Then you can go do your interview. And I'm sure that's why the media has not been anxious to create a alternative, because they want that mic in your face when you're emotional. You know what I mean? But it's time, man. It's time for a different solution. So, anyways, that came out today. A couple hours ago, that went around the wire. So, just FYI. As far as the chat, let me get that off my screen here. I saw several folks come in later on down the road. Appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, long week to be a Jet fan, right? Long week. The penalties gotta go away. They gotta go away. The refs could stand calling a few less of them too, and not just in our game. They're calling a lot. But for me, it's the pre-snap penalties we got to get rid of, man. Those are devastating. I mean, that is what we're trying to do to others, and we're doing it to ourselves. So it's going to come with time. And that's why I'm not as worrisome as I could be right now. But September, right? Lock it. Throw it away. Brand new month. Let's move on, right? Mike the Stat Guy, man, glad to have you dropping in with us. That's what press conferences are for, correct? Right? That's the only media that should be allowed. I mean, I saw an interview with Odell Beckham Jr. today. It was like right by his locker, and it didn't go well. I don't know. What I'm saying is, I'm all for that. That sounds like a good idea. And being in New York, I mean, that's a bigger challenge for us, you know, with the interviews we don't want happening, and the saying things that we don't want said. If they change it, I think it's it means more for us than it does like a Green Bay, a Boston, or these smaller places. So I'm all for it. Let's go. Some of the tweets on Twitter though are funny about why that needs to happen, and I'm sure you guys can imagine. But yeah, if you haven't heard that Kinlaw thing, man, that was a wild scene back when that happened. Grant Cohn, yeah. Wild Wave knows. He knows. Some words were exchanged, man. Jay, 3 siblings, Jay in the house though. Clancy, VR, Johnny, Greg, Leany still in the house. Alan here. Glad to have all you guys. Mike the Stat Guy. Hayes, I saw her in the house. Scott, big fella in the house. Hell yeah. He's got the opposite take. Yeah, I mean, you could look at it that way. I mean, maybe there also is some like sexual uncomfort too that could be part of that as well. And I'm not saying it like often, but hey, just step outside. How about you let the guy put clothes on? He's not standing there in a towel, I don't know. But to each their own, and I get your side of it too. Just status quo kind of thing. I get it. Kittle, Laporta, and Hawkinson. Yeah, these tight ends, man. I do think Bowers will be a force eventually too, but so far he's just getting like the easy check down stuff. We'll see though. If they lose Davante, well, you could say they already lost him because he's not going to play another down. How will that affect their offense? It already looks like that they're planning to move to Madison at running back, who's been way more effective than White and the others there. So is your one going to be Jacoby Myers? And you're going to have Bowers and Madison? It's a young squad, man. Are you going to tank? Or are you going to just compete like all hell and chips fall where they may? We'll see. But that's why I think that they're going to want picks. They're not going to want players in exchange. They want capital. They want long-term. Pierce may not be there to reap the rewards, but I have a feeling that they'll ride him out the year, and it probably is going to get worse before it gets better. And then they'll move to a different coach for the rebuild. As a matter of fact, there was news that came out about Pierce today where he got sanctions and stuff, recruiting allegations. Apparently Herm Edwards is wrapped into it. So if you haven't heard about that, you can look at that. But just pointing that Antonio Pierce is probably not the man for that job. Yeah, I think a lot of us could see that coming, though. Oh, here's a thing I came across earlier I thought was interesting as well. Hopefully you guys can read it. But this is a tweet from Michael Nania that I found interesting. This is the percentage of quarterback dropbacks resulting in a turnover-worthy throw or fumble. So how many of a quarterback's dropbacks is not secure, not a secure play? Do they threaten to turn over in some way? What Michael's saying is Darnold has still been putting the ball at risk this year, despite how much he's been being praised and how great his numbers are. Where's he at on this list? He's number 6th. 7% of his throws, you can potentially take the ball from him. So you're talking, what, 2 or 3 plays in this game. Chuck Clark might be able to get his hands on a ball, or you might be able to strip them or something. I'm just saying. However, I want you to key in on one thing. Look at the bottom of this list. If you can see it, you might have to go full screen, blah, blah, blah. On 146 dropbacks, the only man, look at those, zero of his dropbacks are deemed turnover worthy. Pretty cool stuff, man. And that's why other improvements happening, which will naturally get better over time. The cadence stuff, the pre-snap penalties, the sync with quarterback and receiver, hopefully Brees finding his legs, but if not, addition by subtraction, where we move to Braylon more. Fashanu gets better at blocking. Mike Williams comes in. Hell, he was already at 58% of the snaps last week. I expect him to be at 70 this week, which basically is every passing play that you need him on. All of that stuff naturally getting better, and then Aaron just giving us that, we're going to naturally get better. It's just how soon, it's not, you shouldn't lose your faith entirely. It should just be a question of how fast can we escalate it? We can escalate it by relying on Braylon more and not being stubborn. And the carries are already trending to Allen more. They are. You can look at them. They are. But you can escalate it by leaning on Allen. You can escalate it by leaning on Lazard or Mike Williams until the Garrett thing gets sorted out. I'm saying there's ways to make it not totally screwing you. And that's where we need to be more smart and adapting. Braylon gets 15 to 20 carries in last week's game. We win that game. We do. I don't think anyone in here disagrees with me. When that needs to happen again, and maybe not with Allen and Brees, maybe it's something else. When that needs to happen again, say someone's just dropping every pass, are we going to be that stubborn again in that situation? Don't be so rigid. Hopefully we learned a lesson from week 4, right? I don't know what y'all are talking about, but yeah, where is Josh Allen on this list? Josh Allen, 4th. Wow. Which really, to me, 1 and 2 are the big thing. Like, 1 and 2 is insane. You're over 10% of your passes. That's crazy. 8% to 6 is like a giant group. But Josh Allen, seems like he is always at the top of this list, isn't he? Big fella. If Hackett calls for here, hold on, let me switch something here. If Hackett calls for a halfback toss, I will be so surprised. I may have a yeah. Dude, so like weeks 1, 2, and 3, we all were kind of saying we want Braylon more, blah blah blah. Brees is still. You can't watch week 4 tape, and I know Hackett has. You can't watch that tape and not be like, okay, it's got to happen now. And he can be stubborn at times, but you don't watch last week and you don't change. And that's why I think it doesn't matter how stubborn they are. That tape was that bad. That tape was that bad. If you subscribe to X Factor, which I recommend, Joe Blewett does a video. You might have to search for it, but he highlights Brees and Tippmann, Brees and the whole O-line pretty much. And some of the plays he pulled, Brees just he's supposed to cut back and he doesn't. He just looks at 3 guys in front of him and then just falls at their ankles. That's what I'm saying. Like, if Joe blew it, like, he saw it. It was glaringly obvious. There is no way anymore. Like, I feel like Brees performed bad enough last week to force them to take snaps off of him, in my opinion. We'll see if they do. I mean, and don't get me wrong, if he has a hell of a first quarter, that changes things. But, like, I don't care. Braylon Allen could be 14. If he's running like that, he's getting 20 carries from me. And that's, man, I don't know, man. Does anybody in here think we would possibly trade a rookie? Because I don't know that I do. There's a lot of people, though, that, and I get it. I think Mike Florio is first, but they seem to be on this train of, if we bring Adams in, a receiver has to go. First, it was Garrett. And so many people poo-pooed that now I feel like they're pivoting, right? I've seen rumors today of Corley. Corley's in the discussion from a lot of people. Mike Williams is now in the discussion for a lot of people. So, like, when Garrett didn't work, now it's all the other receivers. But, like, didn't we, like, all season, we said we were a receiver short? Like, now when we get one, we want to get rid of one. I don't get that. I don't think we're a receiver too many. I think maybe from the bottom, sure. Is Brownlee still on this rod? You know what I mean? Like, there's other guys. I don't think Corley's been benched from just being ass, if that makes sense. I think it's just game flow and our propensity for easing guys in. Plus, like, he's going to be a package guy. So, like, if he's a package guy and you're already, best case scenario, only planning to use him like 12 snaps, easing him in probably is 1 or 2 snaps in the beginning. You know? So, no, I don't think any guy that you want to keep is going to be in this trade. If you see a player involved at all, which I find hard to believe anyways, I think it's going to be like a Gibson, maybe a Michael Clemens with Fotu coming back. That'll be all right to lose. I don't know. But it's not going to be Mike Williams. It's not going to be a guy we drafted 6 months ago. It's not. You don't trade up to draft him to give up on him this soon. So yeah, I just don't see it. I don't. But anyways, Daniel should be back in a moment. I'm starting to ramble. Let me look at what you guys are up to. Ah, there he is. Good, your turn. I was just, I don't know if you heard any of that, but most of it was non-Jet stuff. The Players Association is fighting to get the media guys out of the locker room to do their interviews. What do you think of that?
I saw what you retweeted earlier about that, which was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The whole meat gazing thing. Yeah,
Yes.
sure, fine, fine by me. Like,
Yeah.
get them out of the locker room. That's although I don't know. In the locker room, tensions are still high, so I think the media is never going to really want to give in to that, because that's when they get their best
scoops. Their scoops, yeah. Yep. 100%.
I don't think that the media is going to be thrilled about that, but who gives a shit? As a Jets fan, we're sick of media. Like,
that's what I told them too.
Damn thing. Let's just watch football every Sunday.
I said the same thing though. If they do change it, I think we'll be one of the teams that benefit the most out of it. just because of the emotions high, just like what you said, basically. Oh, good. I have to tinkle. How about I get a guy to fill in for me? Um,
I can think of
uh,
one guy that can handle that role.
by the way, I did have a comment up. Maybe you guys can discuss it. I did talk though about some rumors now that first it was Garrett Wilson going over in this Adams trade. Now it's going to be Mike Williams. Like, come on. But that's a story. I'll be back in a moment, gentlemen, and start your engines. What's up, Scott?
Hey boys,
Scott, bro.
I got all warm and tingly when Murph started talking about campfires. I could barely control myself.
Oh, I know. You probably went 6 to midnight real quick. Um, so,
Whatever works. Whatever works.
hey, whatever you got to think about to get you there, and whatever you got to think about to make you not get there so fast. No
Yeah.
judgment here, man.
You know how they say think about baseball? Well, don't think about campfires.
Don't think about because it's over. It's over at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you see it as a potential thing at all for us to send Mike Williams in that trade?
No. I
No.
mean, no.
No. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say I agree with you. I just think that's crazy. I think it's crazy talk. Like they brought him in to help us win a Super Bowl. They want to get rid of him. He's part of the piece, you know.
For sure. And he seems to be tied. Him and Rodgers are on the same page.
Yeah, they're starting to click.
They already are. And I mean, obviously, Davante and Rodgers, they share a football brain. So what if Wilson and Rodgers never get on the same page? Then you still have only one guy on that page. I don't think that's the case, but what if?
Yeah, I mean we can play that what if Rodgers and Wilson aren't on the same page, but Zach Wilson himself wasn't even on the same fucking library, much less book, much less page, and Garrett still got 2,000-yard seasons in a row. So I'm not really that concerned about it. Like he's still going to be a good player.
Well, then, and the thing there is, it's because he didn't play on time, and once Garrett learns that, he'll be unstoppable. He didn't need to. He didn't need to do that with Zach. In fact, that would be a detriment. It was more of a freelancing thing. And there's those moments with Rodgers, and not like there used to be when he'd get out of the pocket and throw the ball down the field. But we saw a little bit of that against New England. There'll be a little bit more of that, but he's all about rhythm and timing now. And Garrett will get there. You know, I think if they do get Adams in here, that would be so good for Garrett. I mean, that is the perfect mentor for Garrett Wilson.
It'll take the pressure off of him too, you know.
Oh,
now
and this,
he has to every rep he has to just be the guy, you know.
yeah, and this thing moving him in the slot, and then man, that would take so much pressure that he won't be getting double teamed ever.
Oh, there's no way. I mean, how?
So anyway,
No
let's
Diddy.
hope it all happens.
Yeah. And Garrett, the thing about him is he's like a really smart receiver too, and that's a trait that I really love in receivers. That's why like Cooper Kupp has been so good, you know, in his career because he's just very intelligent and like he reads the defense like a quarterback does. And I think Garrett's got that capability, you know. And I think once him and Aaron's on the same page, they're going to read the defense together. Like they're both going to see the same things, and they're just going to look at each other. They don't even got to do a signal. They're just going to look at each other and be like, "Yep, understood." Like,
And that's the goal. That's what made him and Adams so special over the years.
exactly.
They'd look at a defense and they'd see the same thing. So that's the goal.
What do you think of this sentiment from Alan? And I agree. I don't think Vegas wants a rental, and let's face it, Mike Williams is a rental right now. That they could want Corley more. Maybe not. Don't look at it like would we give him up more, but like totally plausible that they would want Corley over Williams, right?
Yeah. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, if it takes Corley to make the deal, do it.
Yeah. I mean, we spent a third on him, right? So just call it a third, basically. Corley is a third.
Actually, I
He
believe
hasn't proven anything to be more than that. So
I think it was like a third and a fifth because we traded up. So like, I don't know.
You know, I haven't seen anything out of Corley. We can all call him the Yak King or the Yak God and all this. He can't get on the field.
True.
Are they holding him back? I don't know. I'm not at practice. Can he not comprehend an NFL offense? I don't know, but he's not getting on the field for some reason. I know the Jets do this to young players sometimes, but he won't help them win a championship in the next, I'll say this year for sure, maybe the next couple years. Adams will. So
I mean, we saw it with Izzy last year. I don't know if it's a sign from the guys or if it's a sign from us, but like, it seems like if the player forces him way onto the field, he can make it. Like, look at Allen. But I don't know. His responsibilities aren't like enormous. I don't know. I feel like Corley can't learn a package. We're not even asking him to be wide receiver 3, like, or 4. We're asking him to learn a package and execute it. And do you think it's just us bouncing around with our plan? We don't have it, like, it's still coming together, maybe?
Maybe. And I've heard this observation a million times or question, why isn't he running back kickoffs? Doesn't he seem like the perfect person for that?
I know he got some work in training camp at punt, at punt return. I don't know if he ever got work at kick return or not. I mean, he might have. I'm not sure, but I'm always torn with that too because because you said the guy can't get on the football field. Does that mean it's from his inadequacies or is that just from the coaching staff? Like, I'm always torn because you never know.
I don't know.
Because we've seen guys not be able to get on the football field and then injuries happen and they get on the football field and they perform.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait a second, we've been screaming this guy's name. He gets on the football field. He does what we thought he could do, but you didn't give him a chance. So
Right.
Is it a chance thing? Is it a stubbornness thing? Or is he just not looking good in practice? Or is he not able to absorb the playbook? But then you revert back to what Dane said, like, hey, we're trying to fucking win games. If you just teach him a package, that's it.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
give him 8 snaps a game and 3 of them are screen passes to you and the other 5 are fakes.
To be honest, dude, even Brees didn't get screen passes last week, so that's why I lean on it being us and our offensive identity more so than Corley the player. I don't know. Like, how do you not throw his... Brees should have 4 to 5 screen passes every game. He didn't last week. He didn't. He had 1. Like, really?
Throw it to Braylon more.
Dude, he's all right. No, yeah, dude. Like,
no,
but,
I mean,
here's the thing.
Last week, I'm fine not throwing the ball to Brees because I don't know where he was last week. He was as bad. And as far as Corley, the thing is, people package, but if he's in and he's doing 2 different things to get the ball, how long is that going to fool anybody?
Yeah,
the thing is you don't expect that to work all year, but you expect that to work for now while he learns the rest.
Well, hopefully learning is what he's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that better be going on. But if he's not getting it, that might be why they trade him. I mean, he's had how long now to get at least some of the offense? And once again, we don't know. Maybe he gets it perfectly, and they're just holding him back. I have no idea.
Speaking of
Maybe he's their
Corley,
secret weapon that they're going to unleash towards the end of the season.
maybe there. You know what? That's
Playoff
it's not. I mean, maybe with Corley, it's a joke, but like there is something about not showing some things until after the trade deadline. Like I do believe that, because then rosters are locked. You know, maybe it's a minute something, but there's a minute something, and I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll get there. Obviously, I mean, how developed do you think our offense is so far? Right as of right now, how developed? Put a number on it out of 100. Not how in sync, how developed.
Probably 80%.
I was going to say 70.
Fair. So a package would probably be in the last percentage of that, I would think. Like the sprinkling and the peppering of different stuff would be last, right?
I'm accounting for like adjustments throughout the season. Like I'm accounting that they're gonna change things as the season goes along. Like not like super drastic changes, but like I don't know.
I agree with what Johnny just put in the chat.
You're gonna make me lose my place, aren't you?
Corley over Gibson.
Oh, I thought you
Dude,
were
I've been
Yeah,
screaming it.
I actually clarify if I say I agree with what Johnny put in there, because you never know what could be flying out of his keyboard.
Yeah.
Dude, Gibson, we're all over Gibson, man. The narrative caught up to the play. Like,
Yeah, but here's the thing: Corley might have some trade value. Gibson doesn't. So, if we're still talking as part of a trade for Adams, they don't care about Gibson.
do we even care about accumulating value? Well, I see if you just want him out, but like, how about you just bench his ass? You got Isaiah Davis, you got Corley, use them on kick returns. Just bench his ass. He should be the backup to Corley for the Corley package. Brees obviously is doing it now, and I could argue that. But like Isaiah Davis, all them guys, I feel like are the same performance level and the same ability level. Who's gonna do the job? Like, who's gonna catch our screen passes? Is it gonna be Brees? Is it gonna be Corley?
I mean, Brees is catching them right now, but he's not doing anything with them. And Gibson, if Gibson doesn't amount, I'm not saying he's a negative necessarily, but he's definitely not a net positive. Like, so why not throw Corley in there until he becomes a net negative? Like he's at least at the same level as Gibson. I just don't understand. I'm with you guys on it.
Agree.
It's like they find these players that they love, and it must just be like their mentalities that they love. But I don't know. That mentality only takes you so far. If you're just not a great football player, you're not a great football player.
Good kids can only win you so many games.
If they really are performing better from Monday to Saturday, then you really got to look into yourself. Like, why are they only showing their worst to us? Because, like, the only reason to still have them in there is if they're better when it's not a game. And if that's the case, you got something else going on, man. How do you get these guys to translate what you're seeing 6 days a week into the seventh day? Like, and if that's not a problem, then these guys are ass all week and you're still playing it. Like, I got a gripe either way.
Yeah. And that kind of, it's like the inverse of like the Leonard Taylor thing that everybody talked about, how like Leonard Taylor like takes reps off, he doesn't practice hard, all these things, but then game day shows up and he ends up with 2 sacks. Like, and I'm not saying he's doing that in the NFL, but he could eventually maybe, but like that was like a big gripe with him. But it seems like that's the opposite. Like Saleh loves the opposite of those kind of guys. Like he loves the guys that practice super fucking hard and kill it in practice and give it everything they got. And then when the bright lights come on, nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
Gotta have gamers.
Well, I tell you one thing. Mike Williams is a gamer.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
10 targets. That's all. Through 4 games. 10 of them. Dude caught 8.
Yeah.
And he should have caught a 9th one that got poked out in the end zone.
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
He'll keep getting more. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Rodgers sees that too. And let's face it, if everyone's covered, who do you want to give the 50-50 ball to?
Yeah. I
Him.
mean, there's no doubt. Like it's like what everybody says. It's not a 50-50 ball for him, man. You know.
Yeah,
So
he's got the advantage. He's better than 50-50.
he is showing what we all thought he was. You know, he's already showing it, and you know they let him on slow. I only see him getting more and more opportunities as the season goes along. He may end up being, you know, by the end of the season, I don't want to say like stat wise the most productive receiver, but like towards the last like 5 games of the season, he might be the one that's popping off the tape the most.
Well, I'm assuming right now he's most efficient based on what Dane just told us.
They said he was 80 for 20. He made it 50-50 balls, 80-20. Dude, he's catching 80% of his passes. Let me ask you this. How many of his catches were easy? Because my memory, 0. I think every one was a jump ball, a back shoulder, every single one.
Yeah, they were all difficult catches for sure.
And he 80-20.
And the 2 that were incomplete were difficult as well.
Oh yeah. I like it whenever
Facts.
he catches one for like a first down and he gets up and he just like flexes on them. I love it. I'm like, you fucking let him know.
I watched a lot of him with the Chargers, and he was really good. You know, Keenan Allen saw more of the targets, but he was really damn good.
Yeah. Even when Keenan Allen would be out or whatever, he would step up. You know.
Yeah.
So I was really excited about the signing, and I'm still really excited now. You know, as we're seeing Rodgers start to get more comfortable with them and starting to throw some more balls that like, because he's throwing balls to him, he's testing them. He's like, let's see if you can do it, and he's doing it. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm just you know praying for health for him. You know,
Exactly.
about him being
exactly. I was excited as well, but concerned with the knee, of course.
Yeah.
But
which doesn't seem to be a problem. So
no, it doesn't.
Maybe that whole bringing him on slow thing has been pretty beneficial for him.
I didn't think he would have hit 58% already. And I know he hit 60-some% week 2, but week 3, one of those weeks, but we only had like 40 snaps, so that's why. But like the natural, he should be around 70 this week, and that I didn't think it would happen that fast, dude. I don't even know what's it been, 12 months exactly or something. So
I don't remember what week he got hurt.
Yeah, maybe the chat can help us out with when Mike Williams tore his ACL. Yeah,
early for sure.
By the way, newsworthy note: you should never have to hear when Aaron hands it off to Braylon. Look, it's the oldest player in the NFL handing it off to the youngest anymore, because an older player than Rodgers got signed finally. So that's over.
Who
Jason Peters is he's a Seahawk. Yes, sir.
I was about to say, like, that's got to be over.
42.
No kidding.
He's on their practice squad, dude, but it's not going to take long. He'll be playing.
September 24th, 2023 is whenever Mike Williams tore his ACL.
Okay. So it's been a little more than a year.
Exactly a year ago from the last game or whatever.
So probably week 3 last season.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Or could that be week 4? Either 3 or 4. Yeah. Yeah, he looks good. I mean,
He does.
he's not someone that normally just runs by people and, runs routes that can't get covered. He's a big body.
Yeah. And I kind of do want to see him catch the ball in space because I think he does have a little bit of wheels when he gets long striding. But, dude, when you ask about what we brought him here to do, he's already doing it. We just want more of it. We want more of it, but he's doing it already. Like that 2nd and 16 he caught a couple weeks back, clutch. And then he just did more of that. It was awesome. Maybe last week, end of the game, it was like 2nd and 3rd down. We went to Garrett both times. He wasn't even looking for the ball once. It just hit in front of his feet another time. We shouldn't force that connection moving forward. Now that Mike can give us 70%, he should be out there then too. So Rogers, until you have this sync down, maybe look at Williams. Maybe look at Lazard. You got options. Dude, if Adams comes in here, which we'll get into the percentages you guys think, but when Adams is here and you got Adams, Wilson, Lazard, and Mike Williams in a 4-wide set, I don't know, man. Does synchronicity even matter at that point?
Yeah, it still matters a little bit.
It does for sure.
True.
But
someone should be open though, hopefully.
But we'll be fine. We'll be fine. And Aaron can place it anywhere. That's one thing that like I'm still trying to get used to seeing. Like some of the throws he makes is just ridiculous. Even on a down game or an off game, you can see it still. It's like, oh, we ain't never seen this shit before. Like it's
He made Sorry, Murph.
I was done.
He made some great throws in the rain the other day. It's too bad they just couldn't quite score, but he made some great throws.
He did, and he took a little blame for throwing a few bad ones, but some of his good ones were beyond good.
And when they needed them too, I unfortunately didn't get to see the beginning of the game, so I don't know what happened down there on the goal line, but let's see something to Mike Williams down there. Yeah. I know everyone's saying, give the ball to the kid. That they probably should just start doing that. But you brought Mike Williams in, give him that 50-50 ball, which is probably 65-35 in his favor.
And if you are going to run it 1st and 2nd down, I don't mind. Okay, if you're going to give it to Brees on 1st, that's fine. But if you're running it again, I think I want to. Okay, don't try Brees twice in a row. When you have 2 good guys, if one style didn't work, try the other style. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. For me, it would have been Braylon twice in a row because, I'm going to pound it in. If I'm pounding it in, I'm going to pound it in. But if you want to do a pitch or something, that's where I'm at, I guess.
Johnny agrees, by the way.
How you use them. About what, Sunday?
No, if you're going to pound it in, then pound it in.
Yeah. But dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, quit using Brees in the A and B gaps. That's where I'm at. Like, if you're gonna use him, run him off tackle. Run him, dude. Race the linebacker to the pylon, Brees. Do that. Yeah. If it's going in the A and B, I don't even care about being telegraphed because you're at least using the best guy for the best job.
Yeah, actually, I think statistically, Braylon even looks better running to the outside. We need to run to the outside more often, is what it sounds like to me. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys, should we quit screwing around with the Solomon Thomas at fullback type stuff? Is that we really haven't seen any success out of it yet? What do you guys think?
Yeah, why aren't they? Is Ruckert on the field at the same time when they're doing this?
I think so. I
Yeah,
think so.
I heard someone going off about that, and Jets don't have a fullback on their roster, do they?
No, we have
Unless you consider one of those tight ends that we picked up,
Bates.
Bates or
Someone was breaking down Solomon Thomas trying to block, and it wasn't pretty. You can tell he doesn't really know what he's doing. Get someone in there that blocks for a living.
He actually went out and was a primary read on a pass play. According to Joe Blewett, he was the primary read on a pass play in the red zone.
Well, people are calling for the Jets offensive coaching staff to get creative. That's pretty creative.
Yeah, we would have it's all about does it work or not, right? It didn't work, so we're trashing it. We want to throw it away. Here's the thing though. Do you think it'll ever work?
Don't do that shit. That's all
Okay. Okay.
Although, how many times do we have to watch goddamn Mike Vrabel catch a touchdown pass for the Patriots? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You brought Mike Williams here for a reason. Throw him the ball in the end zone.
Yeah. How about we work on the simple stuff first before we try
Yeah.
Get that down.
That's the big thing. Like, how about like we figure out like, hey, what's the best gap to hit when we're at the goal line with Braylon Allen?
No Diddy.
Or what's the best rub route that we can run alongside of Mike Williams to open up that back shoulder fade ball? How about we work on that shit first, and then whenever that stuff's been working for a while and people are game planning again against it, then we can do something cute maybe. But like, let's fucking fix our simple stuff before we get too complicated.
Well, how often do we watch a game, especially an NFL game, where they run a play action down on the goal line, a little play action fake, and the tight end is just wide open going to the corner? I mean, it seems like it works every time. Let's do that.
Like a bootleg, and you see them just parallel. Yep.
Seems like teams can never stop it. I don't know.
I agree. Just don't beat yourself. And I feel like, I don't know, man. We have enough players. I thought we had a sense of what they were good at and how to use them. I don't know what the plan is. Like, do you have to see them do it well before you like? Well, you had a fullback. You had one. You cut them. Now you want to get cute with what you're doing. Like if you needed a fullback, keep your fullback.
I think there's a lot of overreacting going on from a bad game, which obviously was a bad game. Still a game they should have won. Good teams figure out how to win when they don't play their best. I mean, look at Kansas City. When was the last time they looked really impressive? I mean, I can't even think of like, wow, they're way better than anybody. And if Greg the Leg makes the kick, the conversation's a little different. Just that much right there. I mean, still wouldn't have been great, but the Jets had a lot more yards. They just needed to put the ball in the end zone one time.
Yeah, I got so sick of hearing on that broadcast, like Bo Nix led this team to the win. He was starting to look. He really in the second half pulled it together and this and that. Like, dude, he looked like shit all game. He threw one touchdown pass. Oh, whoop de freaking do! Like, what are we doing here? Like, he did not look good. Like the Jets looked like the better team all game, and they didn't even look that good.
Dude, the running game got going in the second half. It was not Bo Nix.
And they did. Their running game did start to take off a little bit in the second half. But I still think overall, if you evaluated the whole game, like the Jets did look better in my eyes.
For sure.
They just kind of like let it be a sloppy game, and they never took control and did what they were supposed to do, and it got out of hand. And like you said, they still lost on a last second field goal. Like that was it. Like
Yeah.
all they had to do was hit that field goal.
And it's crazy how many 50-plus yard field goals we've seen this year. They're winning games and sending games to overtime. And, then it's our turn. Miss.
That's got to be I don't know, confidence or if it's technique, but I made a cut up and I didn't even post it, but I made a cut up of every Greg Zuerlein field goal. None of them look like they're coming off his foot right.
Oh,
I didn't, like I said, I didn't upload it because like some of the camera angles weren't like you couldn't even see the ball, but like you can see where it like hits the net and shit. It's just, plus it's depressing, but
yeah.
like you said, there's kickers out here that make 2 to 3 a game, and he has 7 makes in 4 games, which whatever, but like none
How
of
many?
them look pretty. I'm
2
sorry,
misses?
7. I'm sorry, 7 total. 2, I think 2 misses.
7 kicks, 5 made, 2 misses.
Yes.
That's a bad percentage. I mean, he might not miss one the rest of the year, hopefully, but if you're gonna make them or miss them, make them when the game's on the line. Which he would have made it last year, right?
Well, I was just going to bring that up. Like, of course, he made the fucking Commanders field goal whenever we didn't fucking need that win. But this
Giants
one,
field goal, and
So he's 5 of 7. He missed one in New England, and he missed one in Denver. But then you can't forget that he also missed 2 against the Giants in the preseason.
yeah. Well, that's they're monitoring that for sure.
I don't know what you do. How do you course correct? Brant Boyer, if someone's gonna figure out if it's technique, I would rather it be technique. Let's just put it that way. I don't have faith that you can course correct your confidence as a kicker in season.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Does one game winner fix it if it's confidence related?
I'm trying to think of kickers that maybe were struggling that got hot, and unfortunately, who pays that much attention to kickers? I mean, everyone pays attention to their kicker, but how often do we see teams bring someone in for a tryout when their kicker is struggling? It fairly often.
He had competition all summer. How do you not hone your skill rather than go backwards?
that's the
It was
thing.
your guy, Dane.
Yeah, I know, and I'm done. I'm over taking victory laps, dude. Like I'm over it, dude. I just want to win, man. I just want to make kicks. Like,
Yeah, but
dude,
in camp, it's not like Greg was like missing all kinds of field goals in camp and stuff like that. Like,
we don't know. They don't show that,
well,
Like,
I mean, they report that, like, the guys report some of the stuff, but it's actually, from what I remember, like from some of the reports I remember, like they were both money throughout camp, Cyber and him. Um, and then the thing is like Greg the Leg. He had like a rough year with the Cowboys the year before we got him, and the Cowboys let him go, and then we got him, and he was hot for us. You know what I mean? That's the life of the kicker. Like, you can go freaking 6 seasons being 85, 90% field goal percentage, which is pretty good, I think, throughout your career. And then you have 1 year where you went 72%, and then you're out the door, but that's not the norm for you. That 90% is more the norm, but you had that one bad year and then you're out the door. So then you can revert back to that 90% afterwards. And I think that's what he did, but I'm just hoping that he's not going back to one of those 72% years.
Yeah, man. I don't want games to come down to field goals and then be nervous when he's out there. when you have a struggling kicker,
Yeah, and we weren't last year. Like that was the thing. Like last
right.
year, all year I was never nervous about him missing a field goal.
And I thought he was going to make it Sunday. I really did.
Yeah, I kind of like I did like I was like okay like Greg the leg like in my head I was like Greg the leg he gonna make it right.
Yeah.
But then my mind shifted to like, wait a second, what's the most Jets thing that can happen?
Right.
He's
You
gonna
remembered
make
you're a Jets fan.
yes, yes.
I
And
know
then
this feeling.
and then he proved my Jets fandom right. So
Yeah.
oh God, that's rough.
Well, that's, you can't miss the game winners or the game extenders. That will get you cut for sure. You missed one earlier in the game. You can live with that as long as you hit the game winner.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of people look at like Adam Vinatieri as like the potentially the greatest kicker of all time, but that's because he hit 2 game-winning field goals in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like that's the main thing. And not that he was a bad kicker outside of that, but still, like you get what I'm saying? Like he made his fame on that when the game was on the line.
He started it all, that son of a bitch.
I don't know, man. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's depressing when it's a facet of your team that you expected to not bat an eye at.
For sure.
Brees, you didn't expect to bet. It was more so how successful. It was a question of how successful, because we weren't sure of the volume. We expected to be run heavy. That changed. We expected him to be the biggest proponent of that success. That changed. But like now we're worried, is he even going to be worth playing? Garrett, that's not the question. It's just like we expected him to like take success, like to go over the top with that, But Greg, I don't know, man. Greg is more so a Brees than Garrett, if you ask me. The letdown amount, like for me, Greg and Brees, I am most let down with on the whole roster. Do you guys have? Do you agree with those two? And would you add anyone else with like? Yeah,
Garrett,
I guess.
Garrett for me.
I'll go a little outside of the box here. Tyron Smith. Um,
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
look he doesn't look like Tyron Smith looks typically. I'm not saying that he is bad at his job necessarily, but he doesn't look like the Hall of Fame tackle that he is, that we all know him to be. You know, but I wanted
Facts.
to ask you guys, who do you have the most faith in getting it together before, like as the season goes along? Brees or Garrett?
Define getting it together.
Um, becoming the player that we know them to be,
Okay.
the player that we all predicted them to be in the beginning of the season. You know,
for me
I
it's
don't.
Garrett. For me it's Garrett.
Okay.
you have more confidence in Garrett.
I do, because I think it's just a few simple little things for him. Tightening up his routes, getting more on the same page with Rodgers, and then if you add Adams, it's going to open it up for him. I mean, he might get less targets, but the field should be open for him.
Yeah. You agree with that, Dane?
I think I'll go the other way. Because no matter how good Garrett gets, Rodgers is still going to throw it to the open man. That's my angle. It's not like that. I think his journey to 100% successful in this is easier than Brees's, and I think he does get there. I just think that a lot of us had him penciled in for 1,500 yards, and I don't see that at all. Brees's journey to 2000. I think he'll get like, I don't know. Maybe I'm losing this argument already, but oh shit, my camera's bugging. But give me a second.
You're good. You're good. I'll talk about my answer. I'm with you, Scott, and Wild Wave. Wild Wave said it good in the chat. Garrett will be fine. Brees needs like a reset, and I kind of feel the same way. Like Brees is, it's weird because it's like his vision isn't what it normally is. Like normally he has better. Like he sees the
Yeah.
holes. He knows how he needs to hit the hole and when to explode and hit that second gear and stuff like that. You're not seeing any of that out of him. Like with Garrett, you still see the explosiveness. You still see when he does, get the ball and catches it. He still tries to juke like 8 guys out of their freaking eyeballs and make a play. And even in the first game of the year, he made some incredible catches. Like you still see Garrett, like the talent and
Facts.
stuff. Brees looks like he's not who he is. Like Brees looks like he's a third string running back or something out there.
Like he's just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he doesn't even look like he has his explosiveness, his vision, any of the stuff that we've known him for having. Like it doesn't really look like it. I don't know.
Could he be upset that Allen is getting the play he's getting? I hope not.
I think that came after we saw all that. You know what I mean? Like he had the reps. He still has the reps, and he's still not like, I don't know. I feel like a guy acts more like that when you see them get the reps when it's unfounded. I think if anything, we've been extremely generous with how few snaps Braylon's gotten. You know what I mean? And even today, okay, in a freaking interview today, I heard, and it was probably yesterday, but Brees say something to the effect of, I'm still going to get the touches that I expect, so it's more so what I do with them. And I thought to myself, what the hell did you just say? You're still, regardless, you're still going to get, like, your touches are secure is basically what he was trying to say. But
he's being outplayed right now.
Facts, bar none.
Yeah.
And Daniel, I agree with you in that Garrett is far closer to 100%. Like his journey, like he's letting us down less right now because he's really not. He's still catching balls. It's more so the ones he doesn't even get a chance to catch because he's not in the right spot or whatever. But what I was trying, my angle basically was, I think, sadly, what Brees said is accurate. I think he can still easily get 200 touches. And I think Garrett is going to have to settle for 80 or 90? You bring in Adams, he'll be lucky to get 80. So that's why I went with A, he's going to snap out of it, but B, he can get closer to the yards we thought just because of who you going to give it to. Like Braylon, yes, but is he going to get 200 touches? Can Braylon handle? I got to see that to believe it. That's my angle, and it's not strong, but
well, Braylon's earning a higher percentage of touches. I mean, look at all the comments after this last game. Braylon has to get those carries on the goal line. Everybody's saying that. But he looks better, so give him more touches. You got to win games.
Yeah.
Maybe that will spark Brees, because if he tanks because of that, well, then who wants him? If he's that mentally weak, I don't know. He's being outplayed right now. That's all.
This kid does look like he can handle 250 touches too. I'm not gonna lie, Braylon. His thing coming out was, I think he had 9 or 10 fumbles in college. You saw Bucky Irvin freaking fumble in a clutch situation last night, and it made me think of Braylon. But dude, so far I have not heard him one time put the ball in jeopardy.
Which of our running backs has fumbled twice already?
Yeah, exactly. Dude,
Just saying, man.
Yeah.
when the lights come on.
The superstars have not been superstars so far. Could get there, but let's face it, they're not even coming close. The thing about all our preseason predictions for these guys, not even close.
No, but there's plenty of seasons still to go. But
there is.
And as far as the superstars aren't superstarring, I just gotta put it out there. I gotta say that Aaron's in there too.
Yeah,
he could look. We've seen it, and in the Patriots game, we're like, all right, that was that spark, right? That first caught, and it hasn't quite fully caught though. But we've seen it with Aaron though too. Like he's missing throws that he doesn't normally miss. You know what I mean? And some you can tell like, oh, wrong route, receiver ran the wrong route or whatever. But some of it could be Aaron, thinking that the route was supposed to be this and it wasn't. And then there's
Do
some
you
of
believe
them
that?
some of it's not likely, but dude, people weren't perfect. I mean, he could do that too.
If it's you good.
And there was a couple of them where he just didn't put it on. He didn't put it even in a catchable spot. Like the one that sticks out to me is the Conklin throw. It was like 3 yards in front of him in the dirt. Like he wasn't even close to catchable. And that was a big moment. If Conklin would have caught that could have been a big play, man.
Great comment here by Barney. All the second tier guys are hungry. Braylon, Eccles, Sherwood, even DJ Reed. They're playing with spark. The stars seem to be phoning it in, except A-Rod. And A-Rod, I think, is tied to a lot of guys. And it might not even be a bad ball or him thinking. I think it's more so just like maybe the guy because he's got to also calculate how fast is this guy going to get out of his break, hit that, and it might be a little bit of that.
The quarterbacks throw some bad balls. They don't complete 100% of their passes. That's going to happen. Not all perfect balls, but I know I've watched. Huh?
Except for Jared Goff.
Yeah. But I know I've watched Garrett Wilson a couple times get really lazy on some routes, and if he'd have run it right, there'd be a completion, an in pattern, and he's bending it more towards the post instead of cutting it back towards the line of scrimmage. That's why the ball is at his feet. And that's, we learned that stuff in high school. So I don't know. He'll shore that up. I mean, they watch the film and let him know, but it'll get better. That stuff will get better.
I think when you see some laziness in some routes from a receiver that is better than that, usually that shows frustration in the receiver. And I think Garrett probably has some right to be frustrated after going up against a who's who of cornerbacks this first 4 weeks, and also double teams and so on and so forth. I could see where he might be getting frustrated, and that's happening. There's no excuse for it. I'm not saying that that's an excuse. I'm just saying that's probably what's going on in his mind. He's a mentally tough dude. I think he'll get it together. I said. I got confidence in Garrett. Garrett's going to get it together. Him and A-Rod, with or without Davante Adams, they're going to have a nice connection by the end of the year. Brees, I got to see it out of him. I got to see him break off a 50-yarder or something, like see our old Brees Hall before I can trust that he's going to do it, because he doesn't have that explosion, man. I don't know. It's like he gets the ball and he runs 2 yards and is just like, all right, I'm going to fall down now. Like there's a defender within a yard from me. I'm just going to let him hit me and I'm going to fall down now. And it's like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah. No, it don't. It don't make sense one bit.
Well, and you
I-
mentioned it,
Good.
you mentioned it earlier, Murph, and the vision too. It's like, a couple times you watch him, he just runs right into the back of the offensive lineman,
Yeah.
and he can sidestep one or the other and have a gap. So I don't know if that's focus or what, but
Complacency.
I mean, how can you be complacent? I don't know. I'm reading the press clippings, I guess. A lot of calls for 2,000 yards and
Yeah.
offensive player of the year, and I don't know. I mean,
Do you think you could get complacent when, and the chat is all over this, and I agree with them, he's more the type of guy that runs for 2 yards, for 3 yards, for -1, for 0, then for 89, then for 0, then for 2, then for 3, 6, 2, 2, 2, 89. Like, does that make you more apt to be complacent when you know all you need is one home run every
Yeah, but
5 games?
no, that's not enough.
Yeah, I know.
I'm with Green Bean on this. 4 yards of play wins the game. Give me a running back that is going to get me 6 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 8 yards. Like
I know a guy.
We know a guy. I think we know a guy. I'm just saying. But Brees can be better than that, though. He's not Dalvin Cook. That's
No.
what you described is exactly what Dalvin Cook made a career out of. He would break off 2 80-yard runs, and everything else was like 1 yard. But people would look at that final stat line and they'd be like, "Wow, 22 rushes for 160 yards. Wow, he really killed it." And it's like, no, he had 2 big ass runs, and that was it, man. But they were incredible runs, and that's what he made a career off of. Brees can do that, but Brees can also be a guy that can be consistent. Like, he's a big enough back. He can take a punishment. He can give a punishment. He's shifty enough. He can juke guys. He can spin guys. He's the whole package. That's why we've all been so high on him. That's exactly why we've all been so high on him. But for whatever reason, right now he's just not showing it. Like he's in his own head or something. If there is a woman, Brees, give me her name. I will take her out of the picture, and you can focus back on football. Come on, damn it.
So okay, so what is your fix? What's your fix? You are in charge of play calling and personnel. What do you do? Do you put him in more? Do you put him in the same as he's been? Do you put him in less? How do you get?
I would put him in less, but not significantly less. I would ensure that his touches, he's not running up the A gap.
Thank you.
Until he shows me some where he wants to fucking run somebody over, he is not running up that A gap. We're doing C gap, we're doing outside zone, whatever, or pulling guards and stuff outside. And then of course you're going to give him his screens and stuff. Try to get him in space, because if it's a confidence issue, all he needs is that 50-yard run.
Okay.
Once he gets it and he gets that 50-yard rushing touchdown, he's going to be cock of the walk again, and he's going to be feeling himself, and he's going to be right back to his old self. In my mind, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But I'm also going to motivate him by saying, hey, Braylon's been more consistent. He's going to get more of these runs, whether it's up the A gap or whatever. He's going to get more touches. He's going to take touches away from you until you prove us otherwise.
Well, this isn't a hot take because we've heard it, but it's true, I think. Find a way to get him in space.
Yeah.
That will get his confidence going as well. If he has even lost any confidence, I don't know. But something looks different about him.
Dude, and that's
the thing is, the first few weeks or whatever, he was catching 5-6 balls in a game, screen passes and stuff. Like, it's not like they weren't getting him in space or whatever. It's just he wasn't doing with it what we're used to seeing him do with it, I just
I do
I don't
think
know.
that's the
He looks
answer.
off.
Getting him out of the hash mark area, like,
Yeah.
and you don't do like you have to force it. Like last week was not okay. That was a wasted week for Brees. He had
Well,
two catches all game for shit and diddly. Um, but like that's going. I think it's a confidence thing because you run with power. Why? Because you're that guy. Because you're confident that your legs are going to carry you through defenders. You don't pussyfoot around if you're a confident guy. And the only way to restore it right now, he is not going to hit a home run in between the tackles the way he's running. He's not. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
You gotta get him screen. I don't care. Throw him 10 screens this game, and give him zero carries up the middle till it's right. He's gonna hit. He'll hit. He'll get chunks.
One package that we've used, and I feel like we've used it to some success. And this is, obviously you don't want to do this a ton in the game, but I feel like Brees, for whatever reason, he's really good on the direct snap.
Yeah.
I actually like him, taking direct snaps and deciding what to do with it from there. Whether he's running wherever he's running with it. Maybe it's a thing whenever he's standing back there, he can see the defense and see where his hole's going to be or whatever. I don't know, but I think he's actually pretty good in that direct snap. I don't want to call it a package, but you know what I mean.
I mean, he had 2 false starts in one game. Do you think that Aaron is making him nervous? Because you're saying he's looking better in direct snaps. What does that negate? It negates a quarterback being in front of him. It negates worrying about the handoff, the protection, and then the false starts. I'm just I'm playing devil's advocate. Do you think that there is that element at all?
I mean,
no, I hope not. I mean,
you can't rule it out, but I don't know. That could just be the guys getting used to having a guy back there holding them accountable. Um,
yeah,
and they're not used to a guy that's changing so much at the line of scrimmage. There's something to be said for that. Like there's a lot being done when Aaron walks up to that center. You know, there's a lot being done there, and you see him like, no, you're over here. No, you're here. What are you doing on this side? You're supposed to be on that side, and then when I kick my foot back, then you go to that side, and like all these different things. And there's a lot to be said. So maybe he's just more worried about being right behind, pre-snap, and then by the time the snap happens, he's just so distracted with that he's not in his zone. I don't know.
I don't know either.
All right. Well, the other idea is maybe you don't have to choose the running backs. Maybe you have them both. What do you? I mean, it's just annoying, dude. You know how many fans wanted more Braylon week 1, and don't get me wrong, it is shifting. It's gone from like 80% Brees, 20 Allen down to 60 and 40. We're hoping 50-50 this week. In my opinion, though, the fans called it, and it should have been like 50-50 last week, if not worse. And like Braylon's just running that well. It doesn't even have to. A lot of us want to make it about Brees. Why don't we make it about Braylon? Because the dude is ripping off 6 and 7 yard runs every time he touches the ball. He is averaging 5.1 yards a carry.
Good point, Dane.
Like,
Make it a reward for one, not a punishment for the other.
yes. Thank you
But,
for yes. It's exactly.
And the reward is more touches for him. He's earning them.
Yeah, and I see people in the comments talking about the old pony package. I'm all about it, man. Have them both on the field because I feel like we've had some
Giddy
good
up.
doing that, you know. And plus, you never know who the ball's going to. Like, especially with Braylon kind of making this surgence like he has, you know. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy, come on. Let's not go that far yet. That's that pendulum going way back to the other side.
Why is it that we're being negative and it's like the strongest audience number wise? Hey,
Are we being negative, or are we just
no. Well, no. Here's the thing.
speaking
This
our
started.
observation?
Let's not forget where we were with this. This was who are you most let down by?
Yeah.
Do you guys want to alter that and try the opposite?
Well, the opposite, probably only one. There's one person that's going to be the answer for
I got a dark horse. No, well,
Dude.
okay. I know I got some answers. I don't know about you guys, but I got some answers.
This is my answer.
Yes. So the question is who do you think is performing either A, the biggest pleasant surprise to you, or B, they're just you expected them to play well, but they're also playing fucking well. You know, I'll expand it to both of those. Just who do you want to give kudos to, kind of thing.
Allen.
Braylon.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm going to say it before Dane does. Dane called it. Lazard. Lazard showed up this year. I mean, it's not pretty with him, but he's back to what he was supposed to be. I mean, if he'd have been in a tank this year, would anyone have been surprised besides Dane?
Yeah, we didn't even want him on the team, I think, a lot.
Oh, when he dropped that first pass against the 49ers, I was looking at stuff in the chat. Oh my God. He was just getting ripped to shreds. And he's been pretty solid since then. So let's hope he stays that way.
Oh, dude, I wanted him off the team so bad. So bad.
People wanted to execute him.
I still kind of do. I'm not. I mean, me and Lazard, we beat
Hey,
him.
his floor is still his floor, but he has a ceiling that most didn't think was there anymore. That's cool.
That's a very unforgettable. Like if you move into a new house that needs renovated and you see one of those like old 70s floors that's gaudy as hell, and you're like, ugh.
Linoleum.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Murph, we can include him in the trade for Adams. How about that?
All right, wait, Scott. Let's. You're still up. You said I said Braylon. You said Alan Lazard. Both Allens.
No, Allen.
Okay.
And Allen.
Okay. Fair.
Because I didn't know. I never expect much from rookies, and I never really watched him play in college. I've been impressed, and I didn't think I would be.
Maybe give us a dark horse next, so you don't take all of the good ones. Do you have a dark horse?
A dark horse. Reed. DJ.
Reed is not. That's not a dark horse, though.
Well, I mean, someone who's gonna play well, or I mean,
maybe one that you like. I mean, a starter that plays prominent minutes is not like that's a big one. That would probably be a main answer for one of us. But like
some people,
maybe a role player that like, oh, pleasant surprise, not something to write home about, but like,
hey, Surratt's had some good moments.
That's a good one.
Yeah, enough to hold off Jackson Sermon from getting a snap.
Is he still on the practice squad, Dane?
I don't know.
He was last week. I'm assuming yes. Yes.
He'll probably.
Okay, Dan. Yeah.
So my guy, that it's not that I wasn't high on this guy. I just wasn't as high as most Jets fans were on this guy, but he's been balling out, especially like the last couple games. I feel like, and Scott named him already, is DJ Reed.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
He has kind of so far this year looked like the best corner that we got. Well, I don't know. Michael Carter II is excellent.
You don't like PFF, but
but
it supports your statement.
but Reed he looks very good. So I've been pleasantly surprised with that. But it is a contract year, so you know how that goes. And as far as like a dark horse, there's a few different ways you could go. My heart wants me to say Will McDonald because that's my boy. But I'm gonna go a little off the the beaten path there a little bit, and I'm gonna say that we'll say John Simpson has been a dark horse.
That's a good dark
He's
horse. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
been a little more impactful than what I thought he would. Um, I I didn't see him being a good player. I saw him being as like a okay player, and he's been better than that. And I like the mentality he's brought onto the field. So I think he's a good dark horse. I think he's been a good addition for us. I'm not mad at it at all.
I love it. I love it. And Greg, I'm with you 1,000,000% because my guy. And it wasn't. I mean, trust me, I thought he would have a hell of a year, but there were people saying this guy could have got all pro this year. So it blows me away how well this guy is playing. And trust me, he has bad reps. And if you watch the Blue It breakdown, he has bad reps. But dude is playing way better than I thought he would play. Like top 5 center in the league. And like as things mature in October, November, by December, I think he can get all pro. Like he is playing that well. So my answer is Tipman for sure. And Simpson,
I think even the All Pro, like I know everybody says like the Pro Bowl is like a popularity contest. I think even All Pro, there's a little bit of that in there. I think the people that are voting on it are a little more in tune with what's going on, but there's still a little bit of that name recognition in there too. So I don't know if he can hit that.
I know.
That would be great if he did though. How hyped will we be after having Nick
Oh,
Mango
I
for
know.
all those
Well, how much like I agree with you as far as X's and O's go. I don't think these AP writers are watching all 22. What I do kind of lean toward them doing though is looking at advanced metrics. And I'm not saying that's right, but I do believe that most of them are going to base a lot of their decisions like all pro on PFF scores and shit like that. Regardless of what I think about it and you think about it, I think they will factor that in. And fact of the matter is, Tippmann is the only center in the league that's top 5 in pass blocking and run blocking individually.
Really?
He is like he's first in one and he's 5th in the other. So
that's awesome.
maybe they don't know him yet. But dude, October. We're 1 month in, you know what I mean? So I would imagine that September is his floor. We'll see. There's also the account, like, dude, it's his 2nd year in the league and he's with a Hall of Fame quarterback. How many people would crumble under that pressure? And he's not. So, like, kudos from me. We'll see if he gets kudos from the Writers Association or whatever.
Hey, he deserves a kudos for sure. I'm just shocked that you didn't go with your dark horse as Jalen Holmes.
Hey, I didn't name a dark horse yet. Oh, Jalen Holmes.
Did I steal it?
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Well,
I mean, go ahead, Scott.
I couldn't pick an offensive lineman because I feel like, and I'm not, but I'm grading them as a unit. And, they've just been dominated a few times this year. So it's like, but you're looking at way beyond that, an individual performance rather than unit performance. But I think that bodes well, assuming they stay healthy, because they're a new group. They're going to keep getting better throughout the season as they play together. So
that is key. As far as, and you're right, as a unit, they've been spotty at best. But I like that Simpson Titman. Like Daniel said, Simpson, that's the best part of the O line right now. We got to figure AVT is spotty as hell. Tyron Smith is spotty as hell. Which, Daniel, if you haven't been in social media, I don't know if you heard this, but 3 sacks given up by Tyron Smith already,
yep.
and he hasn't done 3 all year in the last 7, and he did that in September. So definitely spotty. Olu is Olu.
I saw that Blewett breakdown also, and he was just like, "What's Tippmann doing here?" You know?
Yes, dude, that was a bad play. That for sure. But for him to be graded so well, I think it's proof that like up and down. I mean, he's still, dude. He's a sophomore, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, that was my break. Remember we did the breakout player candidates. He was my guy.
Thank you. I forgot. Yes, dude, it makes sense. I know. Asman had him his like all pro guy, and I think actually Jet Central and Asman both chose him to make all pro this year, which I thought was interesting. Dark horse. I don't. Is Sherwood a dark horse?
For sure.
See, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I was high on him, so I wanted to choose Sherwood, but I was like, it wouldn't, because I know I've been preaching him for months now. So like, I didn't say his name.
That's the thing. Like, how do you weigh projection versus like? All I know is like the defense. Most defenses fall apart when a guy like Mosley has to sit out 2 games. It's an argument, but we may or may not have gotten better in some regards.
No, they've been better. It's not an argument.
Okay, well, let me stop you.
Better, but maybe that was going to happen anyway.
Everybody's saying that, but does that touchdown happen if Mosley's in the game?
Well, I don't know if Mosley's making calls for the secondary. I don't know.
True.
There was obviously a blown coverage in the secondary there.
Yeah.
But
whose fault?
I'm just saying the defense has been noticeably better since that injury, but maybe they were growing and were going to be better anyway.
True.
Regardless, hey, get Mosley back. The depth is that much stronger. It's a good thing.
Facts. Well, if Sherwood, I don't know that that's a dark horse. I meant more like a minor praise and a major praise, I guess I should say. If I'm given a minor praise, I could go anywhere. I would say Chuck Clark, because he's not something to write home about yet, but you can clearly see week to week he is finding himself. And I think it's just something to watch, dude. You can see him blossom before your eyes.
Yeah, Stack just mentioned something I'm surprised we haven't touched on. Although maybe you guys did before I got in here.
I was planning on bringing it up.
No, I forgot about it. I forgot. Go ahead.
Because I remember somebody was so hyped about it. Dang.
I better not choose right now to pee, or you think I'm hiding.
How are you young guys having to pee more than me? I don't get it.
Don't guys.
No, this is your answer.
Don't put me in with him. I had to put my kid to bed. I have to pee.
No, you know what? My problem is I drink coffee all afternoon and I don't pee, and then at night it all hits me. But that's neither here nor there. You guys remember this nugget and Stack. I did not. So does someone want to say it?
Yeah. So I'm guessing McGovern got snatched to the Saints, I believe, off the practice squad.
Is that who it was?
Yeah, I do believe so. I'm basing my information off of a Green Bean video, so
Yeah,
I didn't even
yeah.
watch. I just, kind of the title and, but shout out to Green Bean for the
That's
info there. But I
that's
literally thought of you when I saw it, Dane.
Huh.
that's pretty dangerous on social media these days. But I think you're safe with Green Bean.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Here's what I'll say though. Like, did we actually have him in the cards to play, or what? Were we just doing him a favor and like giving him a place to practice? I don't know. If we had him in the cards and we didn't like protect him, I'm a little annoyed. We'll see if we. I mean, maybe the advent and development of Tipman just told us, hey, he's there if we need him. I don't know. But the Saints, I give them credit because what do you have to do to steal a guy? You have to give the guy a contract, and that's more than we could give him. We couldn't offer him a contract, right? We had to put him on the practice squad. And to steal a guy off the practice squad, you have to give them a contract, give them a role on your 53 all year. They did that. So we'll see if it bites us. Who's our backup center now? Again, here we are again. Who's our backup center?
Xavier Newman, baby.
Should have drafted one.
Snatched,
at
says
10?
Alex.
Mm-hmm. Not at 10. Later on, there were some guys later in the draft.
No, I didn't say it. I said again.
Oh, why not? Well, not, but it could have been a guy who could play guard or center. I think there was a couple of those guys out there in the mid rounds that would have been worth a look. We wanted a third string running back, so I'm cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and we really haven't seen a whole lot of Isaiah Davis yet.
No, he's not really contributing much, which was kind of my point at the time about drafting third stringers when we needed some depth on the O line or the D line. But
yeah, I mean he's depth at running back though.
he is. But I look for the second in line rather than the third in line. But I also go back to they may figure they're not going to re-sign Brees when it comes down to it. Maybe that's why they took two running back.
Yeah. The thing of the only argument I can make there to play devil's advocate is like usually it's not your RB1 getting 100% of the carries. You know what I mean? Where your starting center gets 100% as long as he's healthy. I'm with you. I mean, I'm all about drafting, especially mid to late rounds, like a ton of O line, D line depth, because you never know if you're going to hit on one of them guys, and if you get like a fourth round guard or something, and he ends up being a stud, like an absolute just dog.
Yeah,
you got him on a cheap ass contract for a while there, and why the hell not? But yeah, I got to show. The boys are talking about it, Clancy and Johnny. Zach Frazier from WVU, he is killing it. And I was preaching it in the draft. I said, guys, he is rock solid.
He's starting now.
I'm all about drafting him and moving Tip to guard.
He's starting now, isn't he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, Scott, because I actually had my eyes on Christian Mahogany when we took Isaiah Davis.
He was sitting there. Yeah.
Yes, he was. But
is he even playing? I have no idea.
I stopped tracking him, to be honest. But let me ask you this: does drafting Davis, do you feel slightly better about it with how poorly Brees has been?
No, I don't.
Okay.
You sounded so let down there, Dane.
I mean, I assume you still expect him to get 250 touches. Then I hope you're okay. I hope it works out.
Well, no, I Davis. How many touches? How many touches is he going to get? Even if Brees is not the Brees we've known.
I gotta see more. I gotta see more of him. A lot of people saw him return one kickoff and run 3 times and wrote him off. It kind of irks me.
I haven't written him off. I just until I see it at this level. I mean, he was a small college football player. Not too many of those guys ever bust out. It's
True.
rare. Let's be honest about it. Will it happen? Maybe. Will he ever get the chance in the Jets uniform? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, do you see him getting carries over Braylon Allen, even if Brees isn't here? I mean, he might get a handful of carries as a backup, but at the time during the draft, I wasn't thrilled about that pick, as some of you know.
Going to the chat, do you agree that Brees has had one bad game?
He had a terrible game.
Yeah, the Bronco game was not good.
What about the rest of it? What about the rest of his year? Because I haven't seen a good carry out of him, really. Am I being too extreme? I'm not saying terrible. I'm not saying terrible all year, but I'm saying bad all year.
He just hasn't been what everybody was expecting. Remember, this new offensive line, Brees is going to gain 2,000 yards, all this stuff. Well, he hasn't been that. I've been disappointed. We've all been disappointed in him. Other than that touchdown catch, I don't know. He just does something doesn't look right, and some of that's on the offensive line. Sure.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, is this a new development week 4? Because I feel like some people are saying we need to chill out. It was one bad outing, but I think it bled through all September. Yeah, maybe not to the
whole year thing so far. He's had a couple runs. I mean, he's had some runs. I think I remember even earlier in the year, it might have been the San Francisco game. I can't remember, but I remember he ran for 8 yards at one point, and normally you're 8 yards, hell yeah, that's a solid run, right? Normally that's your reaction to it. But I just remember seeing it, and I was just disappointed. I was it doesn't look right. That doesn't look like. It felt like there was more meat on the bone there, and it was just 8 yards.
Taking the names off the uniforms,
yes.
Watching those guys play, he looks like their second best running back to me right now.
Messages I got into the season from other fans of other teams or whatever. Who is zero? I keep getting who's zero? Yeah.
I struggle to pencil him into the second best slot. It's good to be determined whether he's the second best running back. We'll see. But
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying thus far he looks like it. Are you saying he might drop him lower? Oh, well, okay.
Well, dude.
Dane just walked right off that cliff.
I'm telling you, until I A, see it, or B, we start using him only at what he's good at, which I've been asking for all along. But 3.1 yards per carry.
So, Dane,
3.1. You can't tell me Davis can't get more than that.
I'll get your list here right. Is it Braylon Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and then Brees Hall?
Shit, he might be fourth. Nah, I'm just saying, dude, I give up on the A and B gap stuff is what I'm saying. I don't even want him getting it. I'm tired of it. Don't think he's going to be successful in between the guards, even between the tackle. Just do the pitches, the off tackle, the stretch plays. Just do that, please. And when he starts ripping them off, okay, let's see what he's got in the middle. But just stop it already. If he's going to get you 3.1 yards a carry, you might as well use Davis's fresh legs. That way we got Brees when he is confident. But right now you're just wasting his touches on something you know he's going to fail at.
I'm speechless after Dane's comment.
Is this Spicy Dane hashtag? I don't know.
Dane's just been waiting to let that one out.
I'm saying, dude, if it's between
Isaiah Davis with his fucking 2 yards on the season.
I'm saying anyone can get 3.1, man. Anyone. That's what I'm getting at. Not
get 3.15.
That's what I'm saying. You're wasting him even toying with it anymore. It's over.
Okay, Dane. Here you go, Dane. So, would you trade Brees if you could get a decent haul for him?
No, it's too soon for all that. I just want to use him in ways that'll restore his confidence. And I think we're using him in ways that are beating around the bush. That's my main point. It's going to take him longer to restore confidence when you're giving him stuff he's good at and stuff he's bad at. Stop the bad stuff, give him solely the good stuff, get that, and then is that making sense?
No, I get it, but we're also assuming he's lost confidence. Maybe he has lost none at all. He's just, off to a tough start, obviously. I hope he hasn't lost confidence. We're 4 games into the season.
Yeah, it's infuriating because the Garrett, the penalties, the Greg, we don't even have to fix them all at once. If we could just fix 1 or 2 of them, we're a way better team.
So are you saying that we need to trade him and get this guy back right here? Number 32.
Carter? Where's he?
But I'm with you, man. And honestly, Hackett kind of showed his hand last year. He got obsessed with throwing the ball to Brees last year. Towards the end of the year, once he discovered he could catch a ball, he's like, holy shit. And he just started throwing a ton of screen passes towards him. And then now it's like all we do is either we throw a screen pass to Brees or we're running him up the damn A gap. And it doesn't make any sense. For one, the defenses are already prepared for the screens to Brees. They saw it in the last 6 weeks of film last year, And then the A gap, we're just not getting the push, we're not getting the hole, and Brees isn't willing to. He doesn't have the vision to find a hole or the explosiveness to hit one and just make something out of it. For whatever reason, he's in his own head with it, but
or the willingness to fight for extra yardage.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. He sees a tackler and he just basically he just runs into him and falls over. He doesn't even try to actually truck him or juke him or spin. He just okay, I'm done. That's it. I'll just take 2 yards.
Alex saw that latest pressure. I did too, and that helped me form this decision. It also helped me watching the Blewett breakdown. So if anybody is totally not understanding any of this, please watch both of those because that's where a lot of this comes from. The tape, when you see what Daniel's saying where he falls at dude's ankles, that's disheartening. And then B, the presser, that's like I said, he's expecting to get 12 to 15 touches regardless kind of thing, and that vibe. Like I said, I'm not saying my opinion to last all year even. I'm just saying this Sunday it's affected my choices. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, Aaron Jones was a free agent.
Look at him. Jesus Christ. He's cooking.
I told myself I told myself, hey, going into this fucking podcast, that I wasn't going to be negative after that loss because I know there's a ton of negativity already out there, and I feel like we've been straying a little negative.
Yes, we have. I'm sorry. I don't normally go on rants either,
Hey,
but that was a rant.
we went on Mike Williams, how great he's been, and Braylon Allen, and Lazar's been good, and Tip, and we're
Hey,
we're getting a little stuck on Brees right now for sure.
Yeah.
there's a lot of people too that that think that a lot of people, and maybe we're included, just doing a cheerleader podcast for the Jets and when it's all good and hunky dory, and that's
I
hey,
don't think so. I don't think we do that.
you can never accuse me of not being rational. And now maybe I'm I am Joe Douglas is in my good graces, and I'm still rational. And a lot of people think that those two things are not one and the same, but I think I think it is.
He's done some good things, and he's done some questionable things.
As has any GM in the league.
Exactly.
That's what people don't understand is like, it's like, what's the GM for the Chiefs? Is it Brett Beach? That's the name that's popping up in my head. I'm wanting to say that's what his name is. Anyway, not every move he has made has been the right move.
Brett Beach.
Let me point out. Damn, I'm good. Anyway, let me
good night, Johnny.
Sky Moore.
Yep.
How's that going for him?
Yeah.
Not great.
Not great. But guess what? He has fucking Magic Mahomes back there, and they keep winning the fucking Super Bowl, so it doesn't matter. That's the thing. Like when you got a guy like that and you win games, it disguises all that. Unfortunately, we haven't had that.
Well,
and hopefully Aaron can do that for us. Hopefully he doesn't have to. But
you know what's funny too, when a organization stumbles back assward into like a 5th or 6th round like stud at quarterback, and they get all this praise. It's like, dude, they passed up on that guy 4 or 5 times themselves. So like, can we stop giving them all this praise when it was like their 5th choice or their 6th choice?
Yeah.
Like it was lucky. They got there's a lot of luck involved.
For sure. A good, perfect example of that is the Cowboys when they got Dak Prescott.
Yep, I was just
they really wanted that Paxton Lynch dude, and it didn't work out. And they went, okay, we'll take Dak Prescott.
Yep.
And Paxton
you
Lynch
fall into him.
No, but that Paxton Lynch was their guy.
Here's a positive note. I wanted to show you guys. If you can read it. Let's see. The only pair of linebackers in the top 10. Now, yes, that guy in San Francisco's been out. But after that, we have a pair of linebackers in the top 10, and one of them isn't named CJ Mosley. That's remarkable.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny, though? Because I feel like we've seen this before. We saw this with Quincy and Mosley, but now it's Quincy and Sherwood, So
is it Quincy? Is it the scheme? Is it the players? Is it Mosley and Sherwood just both that good? Is it the pairing with Quincy? Is it the scheme? What do you think?
It's all of the above.
Yeah. God damn it, Scott.
Sorry.
Stop stealing my answers.
No, I like that though.
Scott's nailing it, dude. He's on fire. I think it's a little bit of everything. I think you can't discredit players for playing well. Like, you can say scheme. You can say, talent around them. But, if a player plays well and he makes plays, then he's a good player. Like, it's simple. Like, 1 + 1 = 2, okay? But I also think that, you got to give it to Mosley. Like, first of all, Mosley was on this list, last year with Quincy. And then now Mosley, the guy that he has been grooming for 2 or 3 years, is on this list when Mosley's out. I got to give my props to Mosley here too, because I think he helped out a lot with this. I think that Sherwood wouldn't be the player that he is if it wasn't for C.J. Mosley being there.
Scott,
Agreed.
go ahead,
Agreed.
Scott. Anything?
Well, yeah, you would hope that most veteran players would try to help the players behind them become better. We all know that doesn't always happen in the NFL because, hey, that guy's trying to take my job.
Yeah.
I think C.J. Mosley is not one of those kind of guys, and I think he's at the point in his career where he knows, you know what, there's not a lot of time left. Let me help get this guy ready. But they've been good. Those two right there, man, they're all over the place. Being that speed is great. How many points have the Jets given up the last 2 games? 13 total?
Yeah, you're
13?
right.
Seriously, is that right?
Maybe 23 if you count week 2. What did Tennessee have? Huh?
I can't remember now.
17 maybe? 17 maybe? Anyway, I think 13 points the last 2 weeks. So it's funny how many people I've heard since the Denver game kind of get on the defense. And yeah, maybe they shouldn't have given up a score, but they give up 10 points.
Yeah.
Come on, defense. Let's go. They give up 10 points. I think they said that's the second time in Aaron Rodgers' career when his defense held a team to 10 points that he didn't win.
Yeah.
I was actually,
and I think the only other time was a game he left in the second quarter, concussion.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to laugh about So they blew a coverage. They gave up 10 points. Blah blah blah. But hard to pick on the defense.
No.
Which for some reason a lot of people wanted to do after the Denver game.
In fact, 90% of the drives, they got the ball back to the offense fairly quick.
Yeah.
It was just, 2 long drives maybe?
They came out and ran the ball a couple drives pretty well.
Yeah.
But I don't care. You give up 10 points, you won.
Yeah.
The defense won their battle.
Especially in an offensive league like it is nowadays. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. Well, see, Modine, can't you just flip that around and say the offense should have scored 11?
Yeah.
But Modine's got to come with something like that.
I think the special teams failed.
There you go.
Scored 12 instead of 9.
3 more points.
I would have liked to see. I don't know. I guarantee you, we play that team 9 more times. We win 9. That's how the NFL works, though, man. You got to win the game you're given at the time you're given it. That could have been a wild card game right there, and we just But here's the thing: we're not doing that performance after we figured it all out. I would be more alarmed if we did that after we've quote unquote made it. We're still very much a figuring it out thing. I think once we harnessed and figured out most of our pieces and what we're doing, I don't think that would ever happen. Am I crazy for thinking that?
No.
Daniel?
No. I got a conspiracy theory. What if we let the Broncos win? What if we let them win so the Raiders can be like, damn, our division's too tough. We don't stand a chance this year. Let's go ahead and ship away Davante Adams.
No, because wasn't he making business decisions simultaneously?
Yeah.
How'd you
Well,
like-
two things
how'd you
can be
like-
true at once.
How'd you like seeing JFM sack Rodgers?
I
That's-
didn't.
You
Sorry,
talk about-
Murph. Sorry,
you talk
Murph.
about Jets things that you just expect. Like that was one of them. I knew at some point he was going to get either a big TFL or a sack. Sure enough.
It seems like he was the main one causing havoc when I was watching. Like every guy that was, I don't know what his numbers were, but it seemed like he had a couple hurries.
I wish he was on the Jets right now.
Do you
That
think
was-
he would he have restructured for us?
Did they try to restructure him?
He claims that they didn't even offer him.
I think that was poorly played by Joe D. They
What about
should
good?
they should have got Reddick signed, extended, whatever before they traded him. Maybe he was just too secure and thinking they were going to get Reddick signed. But
I kind of feel like Douglas never expected him to take that low of an amount. I think Douglas expected him to be like, no, I make this much, and I'm going to either continue to make this much on my next contract or more. And I think that's what Douglas was thinking, that he was going to be thinking along the lines of. But in reality, he took a deal where he's making less than what he has been.
well, then Douglas still screwed up because
It's a screw up. Yeah.
So rather than insult him, I'm just gonna trade him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'd offer something. Why not? What the hell? You never know. But who knows if I just think that was played by Joe D.
I mean, if we really want to drudge up old wounds and really dig into it, I have a hard time believing that the JFM trade wasn't heavily tied into the Zach Wilson trade, and that some of the value on one side might have been to negate some of the value on the other side. I don't know. It's just messy, man. It's messy.
Little side deal.
I do, because like I feel
we'll
like
this time if you scratch our back here in the future. Yeah.
And we wanted JFM through the first half of that draft, where we couldn't care about quarterback because everybody knows we weren't taking one of those. I don't know, but I do like you trade with them twice in what, a week, and it's totally platonic both times. I have a hard time believing that. Why do you not just do it all at once? Anyways,
I'd have to see the timeline with Reddick and everything else to guess. Obviously, it's a guess, but it just doesn't seem well played. Taking Zach out of the equation doesn't seem well played with JFM and Reddick.
maybe they thought having Zach Wilson in-house before the draft would feign their need for drafting a quarterback. No,
they have Zach before the draft?
it happened right before the draft. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we used those picks in one scenario or another. We used them, I think, to trade up for core. I forget. There is a whole big web, to be honest. But aside from all that, there's some chats I want to get to that are pretty interesting. Adirondack. Jesus Christ. We were 2 points away from being 3-1, and this whole conversation would be completely different. Now trade everybody, fire everyone, goddamn Jets fans. Response. I don't know if he's talking to us or the chat, but what do you think about...
JC was Jesus Christ. I thought he was saying just curious.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I think
that shows that I'm out of the lingo, apparently. I don't know. But
it could be.
I think it's been an overreaction.
By us or some... There are some people that are... Yeah.
Well, by Jets fans, by national sports media. I bet if we broke down the NFL this year, we'd find a bunch of Whoa, what happened? Games. Well, the Ravens lost at home to the Raiders. Denver beat the hell out of Tampa Bay.
Mhm.
I'm sure there's several more. Those pop into my head.
The Bengals
Didn't
were like
s-
3, weren't they?
Bengals lost to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Someone beat San Francisco like real.
Minnesota hammered them pretty good, but I'm trying to remember who the other.
Well,
Who else?
Minnesota in itself is an anomaly. Like nobody expected them with a backup quarterback to be 4-0 and be like the top in the power rankings right now. You know.
Yeah.
The
Who else?
parity has been strong, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Teams have bad games sometimes, and the Jets had a bad one, and they could have won if they make a kick. Sometimes you can win with bad games. Didn't happen, but it almost did.
How much of that offensive performance by us was Denver D?
A lot.
All of it?
Rodgers got hit more times than he's ever been hit in his career in a game.
I mean, a lot of it, yes, but all of it?
Not
Well,
all
I
of it.
gotta bring up the penalties. I think a lot of it was penalties.
Oh. Yeah, that's brutal.
That I think that was killer, man. But you know, I don't want to take away from the Denver defense. I do think they did a good job. I think they have a lot of like good role players that fit into their role well, and like, but they don't have any like superstars other than Surtain. And I just like the Zach Allens of the world and stuff. Like those guys are good players. They're just not like great players, but they can make an impact. And if you have enough of those good players together, you can have a good defense. Like if you have enough JFMs, you're going to have a good defense. Like
I don't know how many people. I just happened, probably because of fantasy football stuff, I watched a lot of that Denver Tampa Bay game and their defense, and I was talking about it. Dane, I know you heard me.
Yep.
That defense is good, and they were good again. They were good again against the Jets. I mean, Jets moved the ball better than Tampa Bay did, but that defense is no slouch.
No. We definitely had self-inflicted wounds, though. Like that's what reassures me, is because if we do even one of a litany of problems right, we win. I mean, hell, we still won anyway if Greg makes the kick. But like,
As bad as it was,
if Lazard doesn't finger gun,
that's bullshit, though. Did you see Drake London last night get up and do that? You see the photos of Kelsey doing that? It's like, come on.
I saw someone bear crawl and shoot a sniper. I don't know who that was, but yeah.
Did he get flagged?
No.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
But all I'm saying is, like, how much credit can I willingly give Denver when I know that we could have done 36 different things slightly different and we win easy? If Braylon punches that in the first half, like, and I'm not even saying punches it. I'm saying if we have him on the field, we win. I don't know. Like, I do. Yeah, Denver was great, sure, but I am pulling back on giving them too many flowers because of all the self-inflicted wounds.
That's legit. But what do your eyes tell you when you watch Denver's defense?
They're good. They are.
They're active. They're fast.
They didn't win the game, though, is what I think Adirondack was trying to say.
Jets lost the game, but
they might be like a top 12 defense.
I think they're a top
higher
few right now.
Well, right now, I'm talking about by the end of the season. Like, I think they might be like 12, which is a good defense. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. Like, a 12th ranked defense can win you a Super Bowl if you have the offense that can back it up, you know. But one thing I wanted to ask you guys,
they don't.
we're 0-1 so far against previous Jets quarterbacks,
Oh God, I was waiting for this one.
do we end up with a winning record by the end of the season against previous Jets quarterbacks? There's 2 more games. One of them's
Who
coming
is
up.
it? Minnesota and who?
Who's the next one? Yeah.
Gino.
Oh, shit.
When is that
then,
style game?
it's right before the bye. Or no, it's right after, December 1st.
Oh, yeah, Jets will win that.
After a bye?
Oh,
Dude, after any amount of time, like, can we play every game back to back? Because I'm scared of having time off. I feel like we always play like shit afterwards.
We play them immediately after a bye. It is at home.
you know, I'm just gonna say this, and I hope it is true, but Rodgers starts rolling in November, and he usually rolls right on through December. That's when he makes his move in the MVPs, everything else. So hopefully we're going to see that again.
That's once I feel like once we see us click, and I don't mean click in a single game, but click to where we're not turning back. I don't think any of us will even be looking at the schedule anymore or picking and choosing individual losses. Because once we click, it's just a matter of then it's stay healthy and just play the same every week, and it won't matter who we're going against. That's what I'm dying to see.
Dang.
Well, they don't play any games that aren't winnable.
Everything, win or lose.
Nah, dude. There's too much talent, man. There's like 12 people on this team that I think could score a touchdown any given week. Like it's gonna be new for sure, but once the O-line sinks, and once Rodgers is doing even what he's doing now, but then once he's in sync with it, this is a championship caliber roster for a reason. Like, we weren't projecting that. You give us Adams too?
Yeah. And what's great is people are jumping off the cliff, and right now the Jets are the 5 seed in the playoffs.
Facts.
Actually, haven't even started rolling yet.
Nope.
That's
we
something
played.
That bugged me the most about this Denver loss. It wasn't the Sean Payton shit. It wasn't the Zach Wilson stuff. I didn't care about any of that. The biggest thing that bothered me about this Denver loss is that it was an AFC loss.
Yeah.
Because we had a real chance there because we already beat the Titans, and then we beat a division, Patriots. So that's 2 AFC wins. I'm looking at like wild cards. I'm looking at seeding and stuff later in the year. I was like, we could beat Denver. We'll be 3-0 in the AFC. Like I was in my head, and then we ended up fucking fumbling it.
Hey, who does Buffalo play this week?
They play Houston at Houston,
and they're missing a couple guys. That's losable.
It is very it's a 1-point spread.
Jets win, and they're playing Buffalo for the division lead. Let's go.
In fact, if both of us win, we're still playing for the lead.
True. Well, that'd be real sweet if they lose, we win, and then beat them. That's like an extra game.
If they lose and we win, we may already have it, and we got to hold it. I can't tell. That's I'm not sure. We'll both be 3-2.
Yeah, well, it'd be they lost to Baltimore. The Jets would be in first place, right? Because
possibly
they have an NFC loss.
We could own the division lead on Monday, is what you're telling me.
Yes, and then have a commanding lead after the following Monday night game. Oh, yeah. Let's just win a game. Let's just win a game. How many of us were saying, okay, we got New England, we got Denver, we got Minnesota. There's 3 wins. We were saying it.
I mean, I agree with this sentiment. If we lose to Minnesota and Buffalo, that's 3 losses in a row. If you think it's toxic after 1, I agree. This guy is starting. This guy, it might not take that long. It's how you lose, right? I don't
Yeah.
think anybody's crying over the Denver loss. We're crying over the performance, right?
I'm more over the loss. I mean, I would feel a lot better had they just made the field goal. Yes, it wouldn't have changed performance much, but 3-1.
3-1.
Teams don't always play their best, and in my eyes, okay, those first 4 games were kind of a preseason for the Jets. They went 2-2.
Yeah, and dude, it's like you said, we went 2-2. It's not like we're 0-4 or something. And we're
Yeah,
just not able to recover from that. Like we can recover. Like 2-2, we can. Do you even recover? Like two and I don't know. Two and
and,
two can just as like very easily be 9-8 and a wild card. You know, if
well,
you
two
just
and two is
maintain that 2-2 the whole way.
2-2 is the 5th seed in the playoffs right now. I mean,
Yeah, I
Reg-
don't, so I don't see, there's no reason for panic. I
no, it
understand that the game didn't look good, but it was one game, you
was
know?
one
and
game.
we won't lose 3 straight for one, but like yes, 2-2 is the 5th seed. I think we're lucky that out of all the 2-2 teams, we're number 1 somehow. I don't know how, but
That's
um,
got to be the two AFC wins. That's the only thing I can think of.
we lost to
And
Denver.
lost to
Okay,
the NFC,
The two
um,
AFC.
2-1 in the AFC.
yeah, that's
Anyway,
got to be
it
it.
was it was it was overreaction after New England game, and it was overreaction after the Denver game. But I think
We okay.
don't the Jets have a favorable schedule down the stretch? Mid season is kind of the tough part, and then kind of favorable
Here I
November,
got
late
it.
December.
I got it. Can you see it?
Barely. I'm not putting glasses on, damn it. Yeah.
The post. I mean,
Buffalo,
yeah, good.
Seattle, Miami. Who knows if Tua's ever going to be back? Jacksonville, Rams are a mess. Jacksonville's a mess. Buffalo, that'll be tough. And then Miami. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to see out of Miami.
That's the thing. We're probably still going to get to it twice, and I didn't think that a week ago, but
Yeah, I don't know. Seems
So I'm looking on the conference like standings and stuff, and you guys are right about the fifth seed in the AFC. Um, I assumed it was because we have 2 wins in the conference, but so does the Raiders. I don't understand why they're 2-2 and we're 2-2, and they're ninth and we're fifth. The only difference really that I guess is significant is they're 0-1 in their division. But
when it's a tiebreaker between more than 2 teams, the scenarios are changed, and I forget what they are, to be honest. It might be like common games or something. It might get worse, is what I'm saying, because if we lost to Denver and everybody else beats them, that's going to hurt us significantly. We lost to San Francisco. That's not going to hurt us at all. But losing to Denver, if they go 4-13, will kill us. That's the weighting. Like, because
right.
it's your win loss in common games is a heavy tiebreaker.
So the Raiders, so the Jets losses, those teams are 4-4. The Raiders lost to Carolina. What are they? 1-3. And who else did the Raiders lose to?
is a division opponent.
San Diego, the LA Chargers.
All I'm saying,
yeah, who knows?
I think the sentiment is we're lucky to be 5th right now. It might look good, but the season isn't ending today, and that Denver loss is going to catch up to us if we don't start winning. We're not going to stay at 5th at 500 is the point.
No. Although
Barney's
the AFC is
gung-ho.
not looking as strong as it was kind of projected before the
Hey,
season.
Point is, we were a field goal from winning, and that was probably the worst game you could see us play.
Yep, absolutely.
We are winding down here, folks, and I asked for final questions. Do we need to touch on Davante Adams' troll job today?
Total troll job. Some people are falling for it.
He's having fun.
Yeah.
Well, he
I
loves.
I was in that position. I'd fuck with people too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's an element too of like letting a few other teams think they had have a chance before he just comes straight here, because like that's kind of screwed up if everybody in the entire NFL circuit telegraphed this a year ago, and then magically he forces it, like he's out and he's over here in a week's time. It's kind of shady. But if he gives the Ravens a little nugget and he says he'll go to Dallas, yeah, then maybe they won't cry Bush League when he just comes right here.
The Saints wide receiver coach was his wide receiver coach at Fresno State, and I guess he thinks a lot of that guy.
And Carr.
And Carr's there, of course, but that other thing is a little extra thing. But he's tried the Carr move already.
Yes,
really
that's where I'm at. You got to be ring chase now, right? It's that time.
He's ring chasing and he's stat chasing, which is why he won't go to Baltimore.
I don't.
Heavy run first team.
I don't understand how he really has that much of a say in it, though.
Because I think they all do.
He doesn't have a no trade clause,
but he does have a say because his money after this year is non-guaranteed, and it's so high that
no trade clause.
It doesn't. No, what I'm saying is, if he doesn't want to go where you're sending him, he can say, "I'm not restructuring."
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's using his contract as a no trade clause.
Correct.
Basically, like, I don't want to play for you, so I'm not going to restructure my deal. And then the team say, "Well, we're not going to trade for you if you're not going to restructure your deal."
Unless they want him solely as a rental, and they can do that. But that changes how much they're willing to give up. Are they going to be able to outbid us if he's a rental to them, but he'll restructure for us and give us 2 or 3 years? That's why I think he does have – it's not a no trade clause, but I call it leverage, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, then they all have leverage. They can say, I won't play for you. Let your agent know. Tell them, I'm not going to play for you guys. And that happens all the time. It's just
probably
too bad.
More so than we even know.
Then
probably more so than we even know. Like,
oh, yeah. I wish Reddick had just said that before the trade. We wouldn't be putting up with this bullshit right now.
Plus, we've already heard that inquiring teams say that they're only interested if it's contingent on a restructure of the contract. So it implies that they need him to want to come there, you know?
Yeah. Hey, he wants to play with Rodgers.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's face it. I mean, he could go to Kansas City and chase a ring for sure. But would the Raiders trade him in division? If I'm the Raiders and I can get a haul for him, I'd do it because Well, a couple years. You're not going to be ready to win a Super Bowl in a couple years anyway. They're not going to get a haul for him. So the Jets just make too much sense.
Okay, here's a question from the chat because they know we're winding down. Mo Dean says, if we get blown out, how worried will you be?
Funny that he said we.
That's what I thought. And he follows it up with, yes, Dano, I said we. I'm with the Jets at heart. But he also says he likens us to being guys riddled with bullets while we just say, let's tie the veins together.
I'm not worried yet. To answer his question,
Yes.
I'm not worried yet.
Even if we get blown out?
Even if we get blown out. 2 and 3.
Blown out by right now what is considered the best team in the league. So
You think? Okay, Murph. If you had to pick the best team in the league, would you pick the Minnesota Vikings?
I didn't say that I said it was the best team in the league. That's NFL Network Power Rankings says that.
Right.
You know, but
that's kind of my point.
They have played some good ball.
Absolutely, and they've beaten some good teams.
You cannot deny that. I think if you put them up against the Chiefs right now, it will be a hell of a game. With that being said, no, I'm not going to say they're the best team in the league.
Darnold started out a couple years ago 3-0. Remember that with Carolina?
I'm waiting for that drop off.
Let me ask you this. Who has the advantage? Who has the advantage? Viking offense or Jet defense? I'm not asking how big the margin is, but who has the advantage?
Ugh. Do I have to be that guy?
Hey, your answer is your answer.
I feel like the Viking offense might. Dude, I don't know who stops Justin Jefferson and fucking Addison, dude.
Well, I'm hoping the Jets defensive staff, and the Jets do know the quarterback. They know his weaknesses.
Was anybody here, though, when he was here?
Oh, good point.
I mean, they know him from around the league, though. Yeah. It's a two-part question, so just answer the first part. Who has the advantage?
I'm going to say it's even.
Okay. I'll take it. Because it's a tight one. I mean, how does the pass for you? It's the corners. For me, it's the pass rush. I don't know. We'll see. But and then the other foot. Okay, who has the advantage? Jet offense or Viking defense? That's another for me. That's like Jesus Christ tie. Because it's what Jet offense, right?
Yeah, and we're hearing all that. The Viking defense is so similar. They're going to be so similar to what Denver did. Well, that should give the Jets an opportunity. The Denver game should give them an opportunity to prepare for the Vikings game. Come up with some different wrinkles.
Yeah, stop the run and then deal with the pass. Why can we never sell out the secondary and just force them to play man with less guys? Put an extra guy in the box, please.
You know what?
I'll say this. I think that the Jets need to approach this game, the Jets defense needs to approach this game the same exact way they approached the Patriots game. I think we need to blitz like fucking crazy. I think we need to just send waves of bodies at Darnold and to the point to where he gets skittish and he starts making stupid ass decisions. That's the only way that we can handle that.
I have heard that Darnold slaughters people when they blitz.
Oh
yeah, I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't think that blitzes are getting home. I don't know.
It's like 2 passes that can skew things when it's week 4 or 5. You know, like
Dane, where was Darnold on your turnover-worthy play
yeah.
list?
Let's look at it, Scott. Good question.
Let's come up with a couple turnovers.
Darnold was 6th at 7%. So if he drops back 30 times, that's 2 or 3 balls you can have a chance at taking.
Well, let's take 2 of them.
And that's what Michael's saying. He's been putting the ball at risk. Couple plays a game. Michael didn't say that. Someone else said that nationally, but it's true. There's a couple plays a game. You're going to have a chance. Sauce, are you going to reel it in?
Yeah.
Quincy, are you going to grab the ball, Quincy, and squeeze it? Like, I don't know. Probably going to be the factor of the game, though. Has this secondary even caught okay, Eccles. Eccles got a pick. Anyone else?
How about Eccles as your dark horse?
Got to see more of him.
It didn't seem like they ever get turnovers.
No, not yet. They haven't.
Yeah.
But they're still figuring out the defensive ends. They're still figuring out the middle linebacker. Like, I would feel more worrisome if we had everything else complete. Jermaine went down, dude. Like, there's a lot of shit. They're not playing comfortable yet, right? Anyways, Daniel, I know we've all just been hitting this. Like, let's just win, man, right? Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then it'll all feel so much better.
We don't even have to win. I don't know that I may take a loss if it meant that a lot of these other say that some of that other shit's cleaned up and you lose. I may rather have that than a win with Brees still and Garrett and flags. Does that sound right? It's got to be a cleaner game.
Yeah, but I want the W. I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty.
Don't forget, though, it's NFC games, so don't jump off a bridge.
3rd loss already. I would have been happy. I wouldn't have been all. I know plenty of Jets would have been pissed off even if the Jets had won that game last week if they made the field goal. But I'll take a win, especially a win when you don't play well. Those are great.
Facts.
Yeah, those are nice wins. I think that I don't know, man. If we come out of this with a win, it's funny because like after all this week, everybody's been so down. Like I've heard, I wasn't even tuned in, and I still was hearing the Robert Saleh getting fired chatter.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know. Like I swear, it was like people were telepathically communicating it to my head while I was asleep at night. Like fire Saleh, and I'm like, wait, where's this coming from? Crazy.
Yeah.
If we win against the Vikings, that pendulum's going to swing the whole other way, and Jets fans are going to be on fucking Mount Everest. We're going to be so damn high, and it's crazy. But I think like I said this early in the show. I think this team can win any game they go into.
Absolutely.
Whether they put it together and actually do it or not is a different story. But I think they have a chance to win any game they go into. So I'm not like super intimidated by the Vikings. I respect the Vikings. I think they're a good team. They're a well-coached team. I think Kevin O'Connell's a good coach. I think Brian Flores is a good defensive coordinator. Like, I respect the team, but I think we can beat them. I'm not saying we're going to. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch, to be honest with you.
If we show up.
Yeah.
They'll show up.
They're definitely going to show up.
Jets will show up. They know. Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't have any parting words because I think I said plenty, but
Oh, I
like,
got something for you
okay.
guys. How many you got? How many people you got coming to Pittsburgh? That's coming quick.
Yes. Out of the Asmania land, about 8 or so.
Nice.
Personally, we have 4 in our party. Dan and I do. Hayes will be there, and another. Total. With Gunny and his company, I'd say probably a dozen.
Nice.
You coming?
Nah, dude, I'd love to. Here, listen, check this out. This was a nice surprise. So I'm like closing accounts and getting ready to move. And so I had this account at this credit union that I just haven't even dealt with in over 2 years. And I thought, I got to go close that. I think I got it like $1,000 or $800 something. And I get there, 11 grand. Boom. That was kind of a nice surprise.
Wait, you had an unexpected 5 figures, you just say?
I had 10 grand more than I was kind of expecting in that account.
Dan, did you just hear him say he'll meet us in Pittsburgh?
That sounds like a plane ticket there and back. And I don't think I think me and Dan can probably cover a ticket for you, buddy.
Bro.
Yeah, I'm buying the beer, right?
Yes.
But I am paying over $6,000 to have movers haul my shit out to Oregon.
Well, the good thing is this isn't London, right, Dan? This isn't a 5 grand trip.
Yeah.
You come in for 6 hours. Now you better give us 30. 24 plus 6.
I had a good time last time I was in Pittsburgh at a game. That was a blast.
Oh, the chat's loving it. That's awesome, Scott. Hayes will be there.
I know. Boy, that almost gets me to go right there.
Exactly. We'll talk off air. That'll be cool. You know what? It'd be nice to know that this team has figured out 75% of the problems we talked about tonight, right? Before that game. There's a strong chance Davante Adams is wearing a Jet uniform in that game.
Yes. Okay, here you go, Dane. You need to
everybody's shooting for Buffalo. Pittsburgh.
You need to start a little pool, Dane, on like an hourly breakdown starting like next Tuesday. Like a little pool when Davante Adams signs. I think it's gonna be Tuesday. Or
my money is on Tuesday, the 8th.
Yeah.
You're gonna see Rodgers the next time he's on McAfee chopping it up about it. Watch.
That'd be sweet. I think it'd be a good move for the Jets.
I don't see them waiting any longer because the longer you wait, watch. What if Stephon Diggs tears his ACL? D'Amico gonna go get? I'm just saying, like, you don't wait.
Well, our hope is Davante wants to play with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's important to him, then that's where he's going to be. If he doesn't really care, he just wants to go to a good team and get paid well, then it's up for grabs. But if he wants to play with Aaron, which seems like it, right?
Yeah.
It should happen.
He could make it so that we don't have to give up hardly anything if he really wants to, but I'll settle for just getting here without dude. If we don't have to spend a second and it's just 2 threes, I'll take it. But yeah. I think a lot of people actually, if you look at the trades that happened, sorry, Dan, I know you got a bug or something going on there. Listen to this. I forgot about this.
They're the other team that Adams told.
Or I'll tell you what it is.
But right now, the focus is on the New York Jets. As for what the return's going to be, I heard people saying maybe a second round pick. I don't think it'll be that
Two biggest comps, Stephon Diggs and the Keenan Allen trades. And they both equated to, one was a 3rd round pick, the other was basically the equivalent of a 4th. So a 3rd and a 4th for Diggs and Keenan Allen, and they both had comparable numbers to Davante. So why would Davante suddenly cost us 2 3s? Hell, they want a 2nd. When these other guys went for a 1-3 or 1-4. So,
well, they're reaching high to start.
yeah.
Can't blame them, right?
Right.
Personally, I'd put Davante over either one of those guys. But yeah, I mean, everyone I listen to that's kind of in the know and involved in the game, general managers, whatnot, they all kind of seem like a 3 is what it should be.
Yeah. And that he's coming here. But we've said it plenty. Good night, guys. Maybe the next time we're here, we should have him. I cannot fathom it lasting longer than that, or him going anywhere else. So let's celebrate Adams next week.
You better have a pop-up show if
Okay. Fair.
If that trade happens.
If you'll call in, I'll do it.
Your pop-up show, Dane.
Dude, I'll call
if you guys. Okay.
I will be.
Pull out of my cave for your pop-up show.
All right. Let's do it.
I will be driving to Colorado for a couple days at some point, so but the timing might be bad. But
hey, if you come to Pittsburgh, you can see Davante in person with us.
I'll be there. I've seen Davante in person a couple times. Actually, he got a concussion one time. But I will be there in spirit regardless.
Hey, appreciate everybody. Like Hayes says, hit the like and subscribe. Clancy says, good show, boys. For real, we threw it together, talking the same stuff. I don't know. I think we gave people more than what they got some other places because you got to hear some of our rants, right?
Oh, that shit was mild compared to rants I've heard.
True. Facts. But dude, let's win. Yeah, sign into your wife's YouTube and hit the like over on that channel, right? Subscribe over there, man. I'm trying to get 500 subs.
I'm not married. Damn it.
Hey, create a fake one.
Mail order bride.
Wow.
Get a mail order bride, and then create her a YouTube account, and then hit the like and subscribe.
All right. Night, gentlemen.
Dane,
I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking.
Oh, you're killing me.
I'm just gonna bust your balls and say you're slacking tonight. Only 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I know. You know what? You're a good point. But dude, it was a loss. Let's fucking win, man. Actually, should have a separate little stream Friday afternoon next week. Matt O'Leary. If either of you guys want to join me, hit me up. But yeah, look for that because he's not a night guy, but we can get him next Friday. Good night.
All right.
Night.
I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking. Let's go, Jets. Jets. Jets.
Oh, I'm beating you with my mind. And I can still dominate, I think.
Dane, you're a legend, bro.